first look at what Sean Lewis and the Aztecs are preparing.
Look for Napier, and he comes down with it for a touchdown in the near side.
Now we go to the voice of the Aztecs, John Schaefer and Jim Russell.
Radio show.
It would be a problem to have no audio.
If you can't hear us,
yeah,
can you do a radio show? If a tree falls in a foot, I mean,
let me answer that for you. No,
Brent, why don't you go to a break and we'll try to figure this out. The audio.
Yeah,
this is what I would do.
If we have no audio, nope. There we go. Looks like we're.
Are we good with the audio? What's the deal?
Okay. All right.
Okay.
So we'll see how this thing goes.
We're going to pretend to.
We'll see how it goes.
We're going to pretend like you can hear us. The news of the hour, as we're at Snapdragon
It's a fitting
Stadium.
start to the show, by the way.
Well, it is. Michael King's placed on the IL. We're out at Snapdragon Stadium, where hopefully you'll be able to hear us for the next 4 hours. Otherwise, we're heading back to the studio.
Correct.
But Michael King being placed on the IL is the last thing you wanted to hear. And what did we say? The most important thing here for their stretch run and for their postseason chances is their health. And Michael King is a huge part of this team. He made just one start after missing about 3 months, and I was going back on the IL. The last thing any Padres fan wanted to hear, obviously.
It reminds me of, we kind of knew after Joe left the game after a couple innings that there was something wrong with Joe. But he back. Okay, we're going to go to break.
Hey guys, just a heads up. We're cutting it in out on the radio. So we're in a break right now. We'll try to fix this. We'll be back in a little bit. Just hang tight. Yeah, exactly. Michael King goes in the IL. Audio goes in the IL. All hell breaks loose. Nothing works. It's a shit show. So, yeah, we'll be back in a bit.
All right, John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760 live from Snapdragon Stadium. We apologize for some technical difficulties. We hope
Is this
that they
thing
have
on?
been
Hello.
resolved. So we're here again until 7 p.m. We've got a special showtime today that included audio issues, but we're on from 3 to 7 theoretically. Brian Dutcher is going to join us coming up in 20 minutes. We started the show by talking about the breaking news out of the Padres camp, which is that Michael King has been placed on the IL with, of all things, knee inflammation.
Did he sleep wrong?
I wouldn't think so. I mean, here's the deal. You're entering the biggest series, arguably, of your year. You've got first place on the line. You were hoping that you were getting fully healthy, right? You had Yu Darvish now built up for his last 6 or 7 starts. He missed the first half of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Michael King hadn't pitched for 10 weeks. He came back. Yeah, it wasn't the greatest outing, but you were encouraged because he felt good afterwards. And now this, the day before his second start off the IL, Michael King placed on the injured list, and I think it just throws a lot from a Padres perspective up in the air. Is it everything? Of course, it's not everything. Some of the things we've seen over the course of the last 17 games still apply. He's only pitched one time in those 17 games. But to do what you want to do, that's my point. To do what you want to do later in the year, Michael King's got to play a significant role in that. And the idea that you might not have him is a massive concern. And maybe they will have him, but right now it's got to be seen as a huge concern for the Padres.
The one thing that you could maybe take out of this that is a silver lining, if you want to look at maybe some positive here, it's not anything to do with his arm,
right,
or his shoulder. It's kind of an out of left field injury that you didn't know that he was dealing with or dealt with or had. Left knee inflammation. I mean, that could be anything. So,
but probably left knee inflammation.
Probably they're going to have to amputate his leg.
But here's my question. When I see someone go on the IL, I say, well, yeah, it's not an arm, but was he overcompensating?
Yeah,
As in, you're right. It's not specifically an arm injury, but he's coming off an arm injury. They might pretend like it wasn't. Well, I mean, what is it? It's a shoulder or neck injury. I mean, it was all based on his throwing, and he was unable to throw. And then he returns after 10 weeks, and he only threw 2 innings, and now he's got a different injury. So how much of it is mechanics? Because it's a full body thing. So, like, mechanically, he was clearly off.
Yeah.
I mean, they really taxed him, by the way, those 2 innings. If you watch it back,
they did.
He threw a million pitches.
Yep.
He threw so many pitches in those 2 innings. I was thinking about it in real time. So, I mean, where do you go from here? The good news is Randy Vasquez has been effective for this team. I think in the short term, you're going to be fine. They're 14-3 in their last 17 games. But again, long term, if you've got question marks about Michael King and your post-trade deadline, there's nothing you can do about it. If he's not healthy, he's not healthy. And this guy was a huge piece of their success late in the year in 2024.
Thank goodness they didn't trade away starting pitching. Like, they could have easily traded away Dylan Cease. And been like, you know what, we're getting Michael King back, and we're going to make a trade for Nestor Cortez, and we got Yu Darvish and Nick Pivetta.
But we said this.
I know.
If you trade away starting pitching, what if someone gets hurt?
Exactly.
Too.
And look what happened.
Yeah.
Michael King gets hurt. I've said it for the last month or so, talking about their chances to win a World Series. I don't think they do it without Michael King. I think they need Michael King. Look, they could make a run. They could win. I just think it's going to be much more difficult.
Yeah,
because you need that. You could say Nick Pivetta is your horse, but look, Michael King, when he's right, he's your game 1 starter. And that's who just went on the IL is your game 1 starter when healthy. It's just it's kind of a kick in the groin here, right as the excitement level has reached a peak. Padres lead the Dodgers in the division by a game. Of course, it happens on an off day. Nothing ever good happens on an off day here in San Diego with the Padres. Going into Dodger Stadium, you feel like, you have all the momentum. You have things lined up. King, Cease, Darvish this weekend going up against Kershaw, Snell, and Glasnow. And now it just feels like a punch in the gut a little bit, knowing that tomorrow night, Michael King won't be on the mound.
I mean, it is, absolutely. We mentioned something earlier in the week because, again, a lot of this is about the postseason. I don't know if it's only about tomorrow night. But, again, you want to win this division. Now that you've taken the lead in this division, the goal clearly is to win the NL West. I made the point earlier in the week that the way the NL playoff schedule lines up, you actually only need 3 starters in an NLDS. Now, I know I'm looking ahead, but if you were to win the division, you might get a bye to the NLDS. And then because of the off days, you don't even need 4 starters That's something they did need last year. There was one fewer off day. Again, I'm probably getting ahead of myself, but we all envision this team as a postseason team, whether they have Michael King or not. The good news is it's only August 14th, not September 14th. So there is time, but with pitching injuries, not that it's arm related, you're so delicate with it. It's never they say it's a 10 or 15 day IL stint. It's always longer. You got to build back up. There's always caution. And I do think there's enough time, Jim, if it isn't something of grave significance, but you don't have a ton of time, truthfully, to feel good about Michael King heading into the postseason. Placing him on the IL right now means he's not pitching until September. So how much time is he going to have to ramp up, even if he is, quote unquote, healthy in the final month of the year? He's just not going to have a ton of time, presumably.
I'm gonna need to hear Mike Schilt ASAP.
I don't know. Off day, do you want him to call in?
Well, tomorrow.
I'd love for him to do it today.
I need to hear from Mike Schilt. I need to hear about this left knee inflammation from Michael King. It's just kind of I'm not going to say the worst timing ever, but I mean, it's kind of like not great timing.
Worst timing ever is Musgrove last year.
Yeah.
When you really rely on someone and you're in the postseason and it messes with your chances in that NLDS.
You feel so good after your first game.
But I was just making the point here recently that when you get past the trade deadline, you feel like that, all the resources of the teams that have more money than you and have more prospects than you, that's all negated. Like it's a head-to-head race between you and everyone else in the National League or in Major League Baseball, between you and the Dodgers. Like, they're not going to outspend you. They're not going to out-resource you. They're not going to out-trade you. But the issue there is if you're not healthy, there's no way to overcome it. There's nowhere to turn. I mean, where do you go if you're dealing with pitching injuries? You go to your system. I mean, listen, Randy Vasquez has been a good, 4 1/3 and dive guy this year for the team, and with this bulked up bullpen, that certainly could be enough. But I honestly don't know. I stick by what I said a moment ago as I kind of talked through this. They went 14-3 without Michael King. He threw 2 innings in this 14-3 run. So you can get where you want to go, but can you get to the promised land once it really matters? In the regular season, you can get where you want to go. Can you get where you want to go in the postseason if you don't have Michael King? That's the billion-dollar question.
Yeah, that's a good point. Only has pitched 2 innings in the last 17 games, and they're 14-3. So they can still win games here. It's just kind of a bummer that going into one of the biggest series in your season, your game 1 starter, a day before his start, gets placed on the 15-day IL. Like that, of course, right? Like, of course. Everything was going
too well.
It was going too well. Mm-hmm. Everything was going too well. The something like waiting for something bad to happen type of feeling.
Right.
Like, I didn't think about even this happening. It's not like the end of the world. It's not the worst case scenario, but it's still a bummer that he's on the IL now for 15 games. And, who knows what he's going to look like on the other side and how long he's going to take to ramp up. And it's unfortunate timing at its best right there.
The problem with all this, too, is like Randy Vasquez, for example, who threw 68 pitches in his last outing in AAA. He hasn't thrown 5 innings in the major leagues in his last 4 starts. And you may say what I just said. Well, you got the super bullpen, and that's completely bulked up, and you could just turn to your bullpen for 5 innings. But Mike Schilt, and I agree with him when he says this,
can't do it all
said
time.
It's not going to be sustainable. And here's what happens. When you start taxing one area, now you're asking for trouble in that area. Mm-hmm. So, it's all tied together. Your bullpen is better when your rotation is better. When your rotation goes 6, you're not taxing your bullpen. When your rotation goes 4 1/3 consistently, there's a short-term fix in having a really good bullpen. But can you do it day in and day out and then double down and do it in the postseason? As in, you got all the pieces you need in the bullpen, but you can't ask them to do more than they're capable of doing. And you need them healthy, rested, effective at their best in October. You can't overwork them to get to October and then expect their best
100%,
in October.
100%. And it's not, again, this is not the end of the world.
It's not.
It's not like, oh, Michael King's out for the rest of the season. I mean, I don't want to say anything bad, but it's just a 15-day IL with left knee inflammation. Okay, I'll take it for what it is right now until I hear otherwise. It's not a shoulder, it's not an arm, it's not an elbow inflammation. If it was one of those things, I would say, cooked. He's done for the year.
Yeah, definitely. If they said it was elbow or something,
yeah,
100%.
Done for the season,
100%.
Not the team, but
Michael King's season would be over.
His season's cooked, done. I feel like he could return from this. Obviously,
yeah.
We'll have to wait and see on that. but I think the point has to be made, and it has to be continued to be said to Padres fans that might be freaking out right now. John said it, and it's a great thing to think about. The Padres are 14-3 in their last 17 games with Michael King pitching 2 innings.
And they weren't good innings.
They were not good innings. So it's one thing if Michael King was like 5-0 in his last 5 starts with like a sub-1 ERA.
Yeah, right.
He's pitched 2 innings in the last 17 days. So they are still capable and very capable of winning a bunch of ball games without Michael King because they've done it while he's been on the IL.
Mm-hmm.
It just sucks from the standpoint of you had all this hope of him returning and him pitching for you for the rest of the season and really helping you, potentially win the National League West. Now I'd be curious to see how many starts he actually makes the rest of the year because, he's going to be now into September and, who knows if he has to go on a rehab start or not. It's just the timing for him is not good.
Nor for the Padres. And we talk about, you have all of September. I mean, you look at the September schedule. Major League Baseball is ending their regular season early. Their last game is September 28th. I mean, if you return in September, you're only talking about a few starts for Michael King. All right, maybe that's enough to be fully ramped up. I agree with your general point when we return to the air after our technical difficulties, which is this point. And this is too simple. This is simplifying it too much. But I would agree, if I had to make a gamble on it, does he take away your chances to get to the promised land? If you didn't have Michael King, which is not the situation they're in, but if Michael King didn't pitch again this year, can you win a World Series without him? And my mind immediately goes to it's going to be really hard. Because I was counting on Michael King to be the sub-3 ERA guy that he's been the last 2 years for the Padres and the horse that he was last year in 2 postseason starts. Well, he wasn't as much in the Dodgers start, but certainly was in the Atlanta start. Without that horse, again, you're just putting more on, hey, is Dylan Cease going to show up in the postseason for the first time in his career? Is Darvish going to turn back the clock and look like he's 30, not 40 years of age? And is Nick Pivetta going to be Nick Pivetta that we've seen here in the regular season? You're just asking more from others in the absence of Michael King, and I just feel like maybe you're asking too much if that plays out and he's not available for you later in the year.
Yeah, you just are going to have guys step up into other roles, pushed up into, different roles now with Michael King out. That's in the postseason.
Yeah, exactly.
And when the team makes the postseason,
which they will.
They will. They're going to make the postseason. Right now, the conversation turns to, can they win the NL West? They're a game up on the Dodgers. Dodgers are reeling. But, going into this weekend, it's already not started off on the right foot. Would you agree with that? I mean, it's not like this is news that you can just overlook. I mean, you have to be a little concerned with it.
Yeah, what's interesting is you're right. Like, I feel as if we're going to watch the Padres play this spectacular baseball that they've played, but it'll be like amidst the backdrop of what's happening off the field. So they can continue to win. Let's say they take 2 out of 3 at Dodger Stadium. That doesn't change my level of concern for what a Michael King injury means on their postseason chances. I hope they take 2 out of 3. I hope they can put themselves in a position where they get a bye, which gives them a better chance of potentially winning the first World Series in franchise history. But it doesn't take away from what Michael King means to the team. So, I think it's very discouraging. But the good news is the team has played well even without Michael King. Hopefully the team, at least in the regular season, can continue to do that moving forward.
And this is not like skies falling doomsday scenario, right? It's a bummer. It's a kick in the nuts. Like it doesn't feel good. But they still have plenty to get the job done, win a bunch of games. I think they could still compete and win a National League West division title.
100%.
I'm looking further ahead. I'm looking at World Series with Michael King helping you out. If he's not there to help you out to get there, how I'm not going to say how difficult it would be without him, but just it's going to create a little bit of a problem.
Here's the other thing. When you have an injury, you're now asking everyone else to stay healthy, which is completely out of everyone's control.
Yeah.
And completely unpredictable. So, and listen, they overcame Yu Darvish. That was a significant injury. So it's not just the Dodgers that have dealt with injuries this year, and they have, but all teams do. I mean, Yu Darvish being out for 3 months is a big deal. Michael King being out for 3 months is a big deal. Jackson Merrill missed a lot of time earlier in the year.
Yep.
Jay Cronenworth was on the IL. So teams are going to deal with it.
You know what, John? Winners find solutions.
Yeah, but you've gotten to the point in the year where it's a burn the ships type of time of year. Like, you're not going to say, hey, I'm dealing with an injury. Randy Vasquez, you need to go pitch game 2 for me in the NLCS. Or Luis Campusano, I'm dealing with an injury. You need to start a catcher every single day. I'm throwing out hypotheticals. Like, you're going to really rely on the health of your team. And some of that is just good fortune. You either are able to avoid the injury bug or you can't. And that could be determined, that could be a huge factor in whether you reach your ultimate goals or not, based on how healthy you are. That's what we said. That's what we said yesterday, I think.
Yeah, it said that the most important thing for this team is their health, because they're going to make the postseason.
Right.
But if they start racking up some injuries here, things could get wonky pretty quickly. And we looked at the schedule, and the schedule favors them for sure.
Yep.
But you don't want to have injuries affect the rest of your season, and then you make the postseason, and it's like kind of you limping your way in because you had a bunch of injuries.
Right. Health
is the number one thing with this team going forward. If they don't win the division, but they're a 4 or a 5 seed and they're fully healthy, I'd be okay with that for sure. But if they won the division and they had some key injuries to guys and they weren't returning like early in the postseason, I think I would take the latter.
We said that either yesterday on John and Jim or on the wrap-up show, and I completely agree with you. I'm going to take the healthiest version of the Padres, regardless of seed, over an unhealthier version of the team, because I think it's harder to win the World Series if you're not at full strength.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, this news dropped like 5 minutes before our show started. Actually, probably like 2 minutes before our show started.
Yeah, like 3 p.m.
Because the vibe, oh man, dude, vibes are high. Vibes are through the roof, especially last night. We did a wrap-up show last night. It was crazy. Dodgers got swept by the Angels. Padres are a full game up. I mean, the feeling here in San Diego today is, all right, push for the NL West starts right now.
That's still the feeling, but we'll see how this impacts their long-term goals in 2025. We're going to spend a lot of today on it. We will switch gears, though, on the other side. We're at Snapdragon Stadium. We're talking some San Diego State athletics today, including with the head coach of the Aztecs basketball team, not the football team, but the basketball team, Brian Dutcher. Expectations as high as ever on the Mesa. Brian Dutcher on the summer practices for his Aztecs will join us on the other side. We're here until 7 p.m. getting you ready for FanFest. We've got a former major leaguer joining us later today. Flash Gordon will be on the show as well in the 5 o'clock hour. So don't go anywhere. Reacting to the Michael King news, this is John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, and live on the iHeartRadio app.
All right, this update is brought to you by Anderson Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Padres have an off day today before they start a 3-game series up in L.A. against the Dodgers. They will go into that series with a 1-game lead in the National League West over the L.A. Dodgers. Michael King was supposed to start tomorrow night's game in L.A., but about a half hour ago, the Padres announced that he is going on the 15-day IL with left knee inflammation. Need HVAC this month? Get 0% for 18 months on a new system. Schedule your free proposal at AndersonPHA.com. Anderson, fast, reliable, wow.
All right, so we have Aztecs Football Fan Fest at Snapdragon Stadium coming up tonight at 7 p.m. We're actually out at Snapdragon Stadium, but we're talking Aztec athletics today, and it's always our pleasure to welcome the head coach of the men's basketball team on the Mesa, Brian Dutcher, back with us in the home of the Aztecs, John and Jim, and San Diego Sports 760, reacting to summer practice, which is now over, and the basketball season just about 2.5 months away. Believe it or not, Dutch, we appreciate you taking time for us here today. How have the last handful of weeks been watching your team get ready for this upcoming year? And thanks for hopping on.
It's been a lot of fun, John. Obviously, we just finished workouts this week, summer workouts. We get an hour on the floor, basically 4 days a week, and we got a lot of work done, and it is exciting. A lot of new pieces, a lot of returning pieces, and a few injured pieces we're going to get back. So it's really exciting.
How do you feel about this team this year at this time compared to how you felt heading into last year's team with last year's team?
You always feel better when you have experience, and we're returning a really experienced roster. So last year we knew we were talented, but we had to figure out how all these young guys would contribute. Playing 3 freshmen, 3 sophomores, that's a pretty young roster. And now this year, those sophomores are juniors, those freshmen are sophomores, and we're older, we're more mature, we're bigger, we're stronger, and so hopefully all that and experience will pay dividends.
Brian Dutcher with us right now, John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Aztecs have completed summer practices. They'll get ready for the fall coming up in a couple of weeks. I want to ask you about Miles Byrd and your thoughts on how his summer experiences or the offseason experiences are going to impact him. As he worked out in Los Angeles with a great group of players, a number of which were drafted, some in the lottery. Then he completed the NBA Combine process as well. What type of impact will his offseason have potentially on his upcoming year?
He's played a lot of basketball over the summer, John. The season ended. He got right up there to L.A., started training with prospective draft choices like himself, trained hard, went to the Combine, played really well at the Combine. And I think he probably would have ended up being a second-round draft pick. But nothing was guaranteed, and so he decided to return. And then he got right back into with our team the summer session, second session, summer session. So he's had a summer full of basketball. And how can that not pay dividends for Miles himself and for the Aztecs?
I saw a picture the other day. John actually showed me it of Magoon Gwath. I mean, he looks unrecognizable with the weight that he's put on. How is he progressing with his knee? And going to the point that I just made there, like how do you feel about where he's at with his body going into this season?
Well, obviously, because he can't really train up and down. He's getting shooting in, he's rehabbing. He looks like he's biting at the bit to go. If you'd have just watched him shoot on the sideline, you'd say he'd be ready to play. Mm-hmm. But we're, due to an abundance of caution, we want to make sure we go through the full rehab cycle and make sure he's 100% when he steps back on the floor. And hopefully that will be early October. But he looks great. He looks phenomenal. And like I said, I think if we could put 3 or 4 more pounds on him, it'd be 40 pounds since he came in as a redshirt freshman.
That is unbelievable.
40 pounds.
Unbelievable. It's only been 2 years. Yeah,
crazy.
He just is as strong as ever getting ready for his redshirt sophomore season. Brian Dutcher with us right now, John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. How excited is Reese Waters? Because he missed all of last year. He's back now for a final college season. What's this offseason and this summer like for him coming off injury, ramping up for a final year?
Yeah, I think this summer was good for Reese. We were cautious with him. We let him do a lot of skill work. We didn't go live early in the summer, and then toward the end of the summer, we started letting him go live reps. And he looks good, but it's you miss a full year, it's getting your timing back. And that last week of practice, I thought his timing was starting to come back. He moved better, he shot better, and so I'm excited to get Reese into a tip-top game condition and throw him back out there.
I honestly did not recognize BJ Davis after his haircut. I was like, who is that? And we had BJ on the show a couple weeks ago. But for you, Dutch, what have you seen from him this offseason as he enters his junior year?
I mean, we started summer practice, and he came back with that haircut, and I said, you're way more aerodynamic. And he went up and dunked the ball. He dunked the ball like I never seen him dunk, and I'm like, we should have cut that hair a long time ago. So, hopefully this haircut will be nothing to do with help him, but also the fact that now he's a junior. Haven't started every game last year. So BJ looks good. He rolled his ankle, I think, the day before the last workout. And so we held him out the last workout. He'll have 8 or 9 days before we start up again to kind of get feeling better on that ankle. But he looks good. BJ looks very good.
Brian Dutcher with us right now, John and Jim, San Diego Sports 7 at 60. Speaking of a junior, Miles Heide, he had that big second half of the year for you, Dutch. When Magoon went out, he took on more of a role on floor and had some of the best games he played to this point in his career in an Aztec uniform. What do you think the second half of last year does for Miles Heide entering year 3?
This is the year for bigs. It usually takes 2 or 3 years to get acclimated to play in that position in college, and he's been on the right train since he came here as a freshman. This is his big year, the year to step up and be the player we all know he is. And a lot of that has to do with him being confident. You know, when he's playing well, he looks as good as anybody in the country. But it's having those nights where things aren't going well to keep his confidence up, keep the aggressiveness at a high level, and deliver for us like he did in stretches last season.
What's impressed you the most about Taj and Farrell this offseason?
Just the fact that they're sophomores. You know, things are easier. The stuff we had to really think about in early season workouts last year and during the year have now become habit to them. And good habits are as hard to break as bad ones. And so they form good habits, and that's translated to better play on the floor.
Brian Dutcher with us right now. Again, summer practice is over for the Aztecs. They'll start in early November in about 2.5 months. One of your additions via the portal was Sean Newman Jr., who was one of the top point guards in terms of assists per game in the nation last year. How do you expect him to fit in? How is he acclimated to this point?
He's definitely a pass-first point guard, and we've had every kind of point guard in this program over my 26 years here. We've had scoring points. We've had pass-first points. And he is a pass-first point guard. That's not to say he's not a capable scorer, but he really finds his teammates. And that's exciting to see because we've got good teammates to find this year. You know, there were years where the point guard had a score for us to put up enough points to win. But this is a year we have a lot of good pieces, and to have a pass-first point guard is a good thing for the Aztecs.
We've had a lot of players on the show over the last month, and one thing that stood out to me, Dutch, is every time we've talked about what they want to improve on and what they want to do this upcoming season is they all said they wanted to be a leader. They all wanted to have their voice be heard. What does that say about your team right now that you have a lot of guys on it, you know, that want to be in that leadership role? They want their voices, you know, to be heard out there for the Aztecs this season.
Yeah, obviously we have to have leadership, and there are 2 kind of teams. There are coach-driven teams and player-driven teams, and player-driven teams are always better. So hopefully we have enough guys that are motivated to drive not only themselves, but their teammates to greatness.
You have a couple of players that you added via the portal that have significant playing time in the Mountain West. Latrell Davis at San Jose State, Jeremiah Oden, who played at the University of Wyoming. This is a unique league, as you know better than most. What does that experience within the league mean for them entering your program?
Means everything. These are guys that we had a tough time guarding. Yeah. When they were at Wyoming or they were at San Jose. Latrell put up 20 plus on us twice last year. And so he's been very good in early workouts. You know, he has an ability to score the ball. He attacks the basket with great strength. And so we're excited to have Latrell. And then obviously Jeremiah is 6-year senior. That's what you're dying for at the college levels, to have that kind of experience. And he can really shoot the ball. And that's something Aztec fans want to hear. They want to know that we've got more shooting out there this year, and Jeremiah is a special shooter.
Dutch, a couple of more before you go, one of which is on your incoming freshman class. Tay Simmons, LZ Harrington, high expectations for both. How have they been in their first college summer?
I think if you put Tay in front of a bunch of people and said, pick the freshman out, they wouldn't pick Tay. Right. He's so big and strong already. He's got great size and strength, athleticism about him. He tweaked a hamstring, and so he missed the last couple weeks of the summer. So we're trying to get that hamstring back into shape. They can be lingering. So we're really trying to get that hamstring where he feels good on it again and get him ready for the fall. And then LZ is just an incredible playmaker. He is a mid-range finisher. He can shoot the three, and he is a talented freshman. So we're excited to have both those young guys in the program.
Dutch, one more before you go is on your schedule, which is always challenging in the non-conference. It will be again. I think you've already announced, obviously, Players Era when you're playing Michigan and Oregon. You've announced a neutral game against the University of Arizona as well. What do you hope to see from your team, and how important is scheduling like that to reach your goals of the NCAA tournament in 2026?
I mean, we were one of the last teams in the tournament last year, and it was because we beat Houston and Creighton.
Yeah.
So the preseason is always important. You know, you can make the tournament in November if you play well. And so our goal is to play well in November again and try to get some of these wins against top 25 and maybe even top 10 competition. If we fail in those opportunities, we still have a Mountain West season ahead of us and the postseason Mountain West tournament. So we try to give ourselves as many opportunities as we can to be a NCAA tournament team.
Dutch, as you know, Aztec fans could not be more excited. Men's basketball coming up in about 10 weeks or so in early November. We appreciate you taking time for us and our listeners to share what's been going on this summer with your program. So be well. We will see you soon, and we're looking forward to this fall, and thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Dutch.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I hope they got you guys in the shade over there.
We're inside.
We're inside.
They got us in the
good.
interview
Well,
room. Yeah, we're
Air
inside.
conditioning, you got a snack or two, you're ready to go.
We need the snack or two.
Yeah, the snack is lacking, but we're indoors, so that's a good thing.
All right, guys. Well, enjoy
Appreciate
FanFest. I'm excited for another Aztec football season.
We are as well.
Yes, we
we
are.
are as well. We'll have Sean on later on, but thanks, Dutch, for doing it.
All right, guys. Thank you.
All right, great stuff. Brian Dutcher, head coach of the Aztecs.
Yeah, I'm glad we're in here. Being outside,
It's warm.
it's a little warm.
I mean, we're in Mission Valley. You know how it is in August. It can
Yeah.
get warm. All right, let's react. Plus, the latest on Michael King. If you missed the news, he's been placed on the IL with knee inflammation. What impact does it have on the Padres moving forward? We're getting set for the Showdown series in Los Angeles that begins tomorrow night. Plus, Rich Orberger is going to join us coming up in the next hour at 4:15. Of course, we'll be on the call once again for San Diego State football here in 2025. A ton to get to today. Stay with us on John and Jim. All right, John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. We're out at Snapdragon Stadium. Aztec Football Fan Fest coming up tonight at 7 p.m. This is a free event, by the way. Tickets are available. They are free. You can grab them at goaztecs.com. A perfect night for Jaden Denigal, the starting quarterback for the Aztecs in 2025. You can see him tonight and the entire team out here at Snapdragon Stadium. Really good show lined up. And again, a lot of our first hour we have spent on the injury to Michael King. If you missed it, on this off day with the Padres playing some of the best baseball they've played all year, 14-3 in their last 17 games. They've taken over sole possession of first place in the NL West. The Dodgers losing again last night to the Angels. And then we get this news, which is that King is on the 15-day IL, which means he could be back as soon as basically the 1st of September. But we don't know, to your point, because we haven't heard from Mike Schilt. We haven't heard from Michael King himself either. So, yeah, I know what I'm going to hear from Schilt, Jim. You know what he's going to say. He's going to say, you know what? Michael suffered a little bit of a setback, but our medical team feels really good about where Michael is right now. But we just wanted to err on the side of caution. Team's playing so well. Michael is so important to our team. We just want to make sure he's good to go. But we don't anticipate this being a lengthy IL stint.
Winners find solutions. We have the horses here.
Won't he say that about Michael? He'll be like, he'll say it in like
it'll be very
positive.
Way. It'll be a very positive. Hopefully it's positive.
But I think it will.
Hopefully it's positive. But, back to the original point, it does feel like today, riding the ultimate high that all Padres fans are riding right now, being a game up on the Dodgers, making up 9 games in a little over a month, taking on the Dodgers this weekend up in LA. Michael King scheduled to start tomorrow, and then he gets scratched, put on the 15-day IL today around 3 o'clock. It does feel like a kick in the nuts, but perspective, as you're quote tweeting me and tell me I'm an idiot or something, right?
No, I'm just giving myself credit for your tweet.
Oh, 2 innings in this 14-3 stretch, 2 innings since May 18th. That's how many innings Michael King has pitched in the last 3 months. And they're a good baseball team. Without him, would I say they need him to win a World Series? Yeah, probably. Just because thinking of this team and their chances to win a World Series without Michael King, it becomes more difficult. But still, in the here and now, they can absolutely get the job done with what they have because they haven't had Michael King. What's the saying? You're not going to miss $1 million if you don't have $1 million.
You're not going to miss the money if you never had it. Yeah, there's this talk now in like the NIL era. We'll talk to Brendan Hill, who handles NIL with San Diego State. Hey, Magoon Guath was offered $1 million to go to Kentucky. He just lost out on $1 million, but he never had the $1 million. So it's not like he's making $1 million less. He's already lived without that $1 million that he could have had. So there's multiple ways to look at it. But I agree with the overall point that they're 69-52, and they haven't had a lot of Michael King. And they've got the second best record. Isn't that right? Well, they're a half game behind the Phillies. They got basically the second best record right now in the National League. But here's what I would say. If you didn't have King, could you win a World Series? Of course, the answer is yes. Is the margin thinner? Yes. Mm-hmm. But here's what you'd be saying. It would be a lot of hope. Is Dylan Cease going to be the postseason performer he's never been? Mm-hmm. Is Yu Darvish turning back the clock in the postseason? And is Nick Pivetta, who hasn't had what's Nick Pavetta's postseason experiences here, or his overall numbers in the postseason? That's a very good question because I don't know.
Either
do I. I need to look that up because he's been with good teams, right? So he's got to have a little bit of postseason experience, does he not? Let's see. His postseason career. Here it is. He's made 3 appearances, 1 start. He's got a 2.63, which is great. But he's only made 1 ever postseason start. It was in 2021 with the Boston Red Sox.
Okay.
So he's been good, but he hasn't appeared in the postseason since 2021, and the innings are limited because he's made 1 start in his career.
Well, it's also, it's not like Michael King has this crazy good postseason resume either.
But it was last year.
It was last year. That 1 start against Atlanta was one of the best starts in franchise history in the postseason.
True.
His next start against the Dodgers was subpar, but he got the job done. I thought after the grand slam he gave up, he pitched really well in that game. But yeah, you're right. Can Nick Pivetta step up in that role? Can Dylan Cease kind of face his postseason demons once they get there? Those are all questions that are completely valid if Michael King doesn't return when the postseason comes around in a month and a half. In the here and now, they have a very crucial series this weekend at Dodger Stadium. Does it suck that tomorrow night you were expecting to have Michael King on the mound against Clayton Kershaw and you're not getting that from a Padres perspective? Yeah, it does. But that doesn't change their mindset of going out there winning games. They're not going to just say, you know what? Let's just
now
give
the
up.
King's out. Let's
just
you know what?
up.
Let's sit Manny tomorrow night.
Yeah,
no,
let's wave the white flag.
Well, here's my question: Do they have someone waiting in the wings to bail them out?
As far as who?
As far as starting pitching?
Well, Randy Vasquez.
No.
What are you talking about?
Do they have someone that's pitched in the postseason and been a leader?
Don't you do it?
And has
it.
pitched in some of the biggest stages in Padres postseason history.
Stop it.
Is he waiting in the wings?
No, stop.
9 months off Tommy John, throwing bullpens.
John.
Making $20 million a year.
John.
The San Diego kid.
John. Don't do it.
But if they need him.
Stop it.
If they need him.
Stop it.
Can he give him 7 innings in game 1 of the NLCS?
Don't do it.
He can't?
Don't do it. No.
And the man I'm talking about is Nestor Cortez. No, I'm kidding. I'm talking about Joe Musgrove, who has been ramping up, according to Mike Schilt and Ruben Niebla and the organization. Has he not?
Look, that would be an all-time fairy tale ending.
Imagine that.
Michael King is out. Look who's walking through that door.
Joe Musgrove.
What?
He just shoves all postseason.
It's just amazing.
Makes 5 starts.
He makes no starts in the regular season, but he just shoves in the postseason
he's 5 starts, 1.94 ERA.
Yeah,
so you're saying don't count on it or don't even consider it?
Don't even consider it.
Even with circumstances changing now, potentially.
Dude, it's not like 3/5 of their rotation was all going down.
No, you're right. But a piece that would be an integral part of the rotation in the postseason now has gone down. Doesn't mean he won't be back, but now has gone down. And I'm with you. I'm half joking, and maybe I'm 99.9% joking, but I know that Joe Musgrove will be working and efforting to return to the mound in 2025. I am positive of it. He's been quoted. He's been preparing. He'll be a year off Tommy John in October. It's not unprecedented. I don't think it's advisable for a guy like Musgrove that was rushed back before. I don't know how effective he would be, but imagine that. Joe Musgrove in October 2025 for the Padres.
No.
All right. On the other side, more reaction to the news that Michael King has been placed on the IL. What does it mean for the Padres' chances here down the stretch in 2025? Plus, we're getting you ready for this massive series at Dodger Stadium as the Padres have taken a 1-game lead in the division. Rich Orenberger on the call for the Aztecs with me this upcoming season. Once again, Rich on the call. He'll join us here live at 4:15. We'll talk to Brendan Hill, assistant AD for student athlete development and NIL at San Diego State. He'll join us coming up at 4:30. Flash Gordon, the great MLBer, is going to join us at 5 p.m. So we've got you covered. We're here until 7 tonight. Special edition of John and Jim from Snapdragon Stadium. Don't go anywhere. This is John and Jim.
All right, this update is brought to you by Allstate. Padres, they have an off day today. They start a 3-game series with the Dodgers up in L.A. tomorrow night. They will go into the game with a 1-game lead on the Dodgers for first place in the National League West. Michael King was supposed to start tomorrow night for the Padres, but about an hour ago, he was placed on the 15-day IL by the Padres with left knee inflammation. Randy Vasquez has been recalled to the active roster. Some people just know you could save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Those people are probably saving a carload of cash right now. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Can you feel it? The gridiron looms. In 2 weeks, the Scarlet and Black open up the season versus Stony Brook. But today, we're live at Snapdragon Stadium getting ready for SDSU Fan Fest. Come on, let's go! And the first look at what Sean Lewis and the Aztecs are preparing.
Look for Napier, and he comes down with it for a touchdown in the near side.
Now we go to the voice of the Aztecs, John Schaefer and Jim Russell.
I'm the voice of the Aztecs?
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is hour 2 of John and Jim. You are such an idiot. He said voice of the Aztecs, John Schaefer, and Jim Russell.
Oh.
So we're not like collectively the voice is.
Oh, that's right.
In fact, if we were, it would be Rich and me.
That's true.
You're just like,
I'm just there.
You're Jim. You're Jim.
I'm just a guy.
All right, here's what we have coming up. Rich Ornberger is going to swing by. He's on the call this year with me, second year. I'm excited to work with Rich again for a second year. This will be, I think, Rich's 9th year calling Aztec football games. He did 7 seasons with Ted, might have done 8. And it'll be our second season working together. Can't wait. We'll get underway 2 weeks from tonight. San Diego State, Stony Brook from Snapdragon Stadium. So Rich will swing by in about 15 minutes. Brendan Hill, who's at San Diego State, is the assistant AD for student athlete development and NIL. He'll join us at 4:30. Flash Gordon. Now, he never pitched for the Padres.
No.
But do you realize when he retired, listen to this ridiculous stat, and then we'll get back to Padres Dodgers.
Okay.
I'm gonna blow your mind.
Do it.
Okay, just like I did with the Joe Musgrove thing.
Yeah.
Flash Gordon, when he retired, was the only pitcher in baseball history with 100 wins, 100 saves, and 100 holds. 3-time All-Star, 100 wins, 100 saves, 100 holds. Hold coming into a game with a lead, leaving a game with a lead, but not getting a save. I mean, this guy's career was really, really good.
Because in my head, I'm thinking, what about John Smoltz? But he never had
Well,
done
when
many
he
holds.
retired, I don't know if there's someone that's done it since. According to Wikipedia, when he retired. So he's been out for 15 years.
Okay.
He was he won a World Series, the Phillies in 08, but he was hurt in the second half of the year. He was out in 09. So has anyone retired since 09 with 100? First of all, 100 plus wins is a ton in today's baseball.
Yes.
Now you can get them sometimes in relief, right? If you get 8 or 10 a year. But 100 saves is a decent number too, and so are 100 holds.
Okay.
What's this? Are you looking at Smoltz or are you looking at Gordon?
I'm looking at Smoltz. So
Yeah.
Smoltz in his career had 213 wins, 154 saves.
Mm-hmm. Does it have holds on there?
Doesn't show me holds, but they wouldn't make him a setup guy. They made him a closer.
Yeah, exactly.
And he was one of the best closers for a 3-year stretch from 02 to 04. So,
right.
So when did Flash Gordon retire?
He retired in 2009 with 138 wins, by the way.
Okay, wow, that's really good.
It's a huge number.
I think when you put in the holds category,
That probably is the separator.
that's the separator.
Yeah,
because Smoltz had 200 plus wins and 150 plus saves.
He did have 200 wins.
213.
Wow.
Pretty good career.
Insane. That's insane.
Pretty good career. And it's crazy because like I'm just looking at stats and I love going to Baseball Reference
Me too.
and looking at Hall of Famer stats. I'm like, that we'll never see that again. In 2004, John, with Atlanta, he had 44 saves and a 2.76 ERA.
Mm-hmm.
Then 2 years later in 06, he had 16 wins with the Braves and he had a 3.49 ERA. So he went from a closer back to a starter, back to a it's a crazy career.
Did you say, Brent, that he had 0 career holds?
He has 0 holds.
That's about, because he never pitched in any role other than
Closer.
as a closer. But yeah, I'm telling you, Flash Gordon's stats are pretty gaudy. He had a 46 save season. Again, won 138 games in the major leagues, including 17 in his second year in the big leagues. He went 17-9 with the Royals in 1989. He's going to join us because of this high school showcase, the Perfect Game Showcase coming up Sunday at Petco Park. He'll join us at 5 p.m. I got a couple of things for you as we talk about Michael King going on the IL, right?
Uh-huh.
One of which is this. One of which is this. To the earlier point about, not having King isn't good, but the Padres are still playing well.
Yeah.
The Dodgers, since the 3rd of July, have the same record. There's Rich Ornberger.
Oh, look who it is.
What is going on? Sit down here.
Join the show.
Let's do this. There's always time. We have 100 hours to talk about whatever the hell we're talking about.
Yeah.
Are you guys talking about how the Padres have taken a commanding lead in the NL West?
We were talking about that, and then we were talking about Michael King
Yeah.
going on the IL because you can't have nice things.
No, you can't.
That's how sports work.
We were talking about it this morning. I was venting the frustration of being a Padres fan, indoctrinating myself into this city when I signed with the Chargers back in 2013, and watching baseball as a calming tool in the off season and things like that, or during the season. And man, you're just waiting for the other shoe to drop, and it feels like it's just hovering right there for us all.
100%.
It's what can go wrong does go wrong kind of Murphy's law.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this is too good to be true. But I mean, we're making the point. It's like the guy's pitched 2 innings since May 18th.
And they've still been very good as a team.
A very, very good team.
Yeah.
I just look at, they still have a very good chance to win the National League West, even with Michael King. World Series, that's probably like another question.
I appreciate the buy-in. I mean, there could have been at the deadline so many different ways that could have gone. And organizationally, I'm really proud of what they did, even with some turmoil, not necessarily in the front office, but from the owner suite. There was a lot of things that, the shifting of hands, the behind the scenes arguing that I believe was going on, that we had reports that were going on. They were able to get this season off, get out to a hot start. They went into a little bit of a doldrum there, but I mean, faith renewed at the deadline. So I'm excited for the second half prospects here as we're making the stretch run or getting close to the fall.
Yeah.
It's an exciting time to be a Padres fan, but again, you're just waiting. Where is the rake hidden in the tall grass?
Yeah,
when
exactly.
is it going
to hit you in the face?
Exactly.
It was Joe last year.
Mhm.
Yeah, 2022. I mean, what happened in 2022? I feel like
2022 when they lost to the Phillies, they kind of just ran out of starting pitching.
they did.
In 2020, they had pitching injuries everywhere in the postseason, like Clevenger.
Yeah.
Rich Ornberger with us right now. Big Rich, TD and Fletch, 101.5 KGB mornings, right?
How is it to transition? He's just already laughing.
Yeah, seriously, because
from a sports talk show to a morning FM show.
In sports, all you do is talk. Like you have to fill the entire hour.
Yeah.
And then on the FM side, they like have these songs or whatever.
Yeah.
That they put. So how different is it?
I'm finally getting paid by the word. It's unbelievable, and it's
nice.
a long time coming, right? No, it's a different challenge. Concise and word efficiency and getting to the point quicker. Not things that I'm strong in. I'm a chatty guy. But it's been a super fun challenge, and that's what it is. It's fun. I mean, it's like we all think of sports as the toy shop, and we're just left alone like kids in a toy shop, after the rest of the general public leaves, and we're left the keys. Well, it's even more so when you transition to an FM morning show, because you can talk about anything you want as long as you're having fun. You're hoping that people on their commute to work are having fun.
Are you like working out, because your arms are huge? Now you played in the NFL, but it seems like you seem stronger than when you played in the NFL. What's going on with you?
Well, I'm trying out for the team tonight. I forgot to tell you guys.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm going to be an Aztec. I found out through a weird loophole I have 1 year of eligibility
Can you
back.
imagine?
So just walk out.
What are you doing?
Who's
Just getting home and lifting the kids?
Well, the kids were the problem getting to the gym. I felt so guilty, like, going away for an hour and a half, or you get busy when they're at school. My back and doing push-ups with them, and I'm not even kidding.
I can see you doing that.
And they have fun, because it's like going on, like a horseback ride, and I'm starting to get in better shape. I'm not even kidding. And also, as it turns out, ice cream every night wasn't what you
wasn't good.
No. Yeah, nobody told me. Nobody told me, and that's not good for you, apparently.
Are you a full tub guy? Like once you get going, you can't stop.
Oh, buddy,
Yeah.
I intentionally buy the pints, because at
you
least
can't eat more than that.
Yeah, the bottom of the carton stops you. But then the funny thing is, there's always another pint in the freezer.
Somewhere,
so sometimes it's a 2-pint night, depending on how early you get started.
What time are you going to sleep? So you're doing the show. It's at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
You're on the air. You got to be ready to go. But I mean, I know me personally, like even if I know I have to be up early, it's sometimes hard to go to sleep early, even if you have to be up early. So what's your routine like?
The routine is pretty much when the kids go to sleep, that's about the time I go to sleep. So anywhere between 7:45 and 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a wide range there, but usually they're in bed about 8:30. And if I don't fall asleep putting them, reading books to them, I'll crash as soon as I leave their room. So yeah, I mean, it's early days, but it's rewarding work, and having afternoons off and being able to do kid pickup and stuff like that is cool. Yeah.
Our YouTube chat says that you look like Kane, the wrestler. They said,
look at that, because we have an angle like just of the bicep.
Yeah.
You look huge, dude.
They say, damn, he's been on that bulk train. just ripped, dude. Oh my goodness. All right, so let's get to this Aztec football team. That's why we're here. Last year wasn't the year that they wanted for year one of Sean Lewis. This year, year two, new quarterback Jaden Denigal named the starter yesterday. A lot of players returning on defense. Feels like a step up is in order for this year's team.
I agree. It sort of feels like a must at this point in the culture of college football. Talking about this more globally than locally, head coaches are under more pressure to perform and to have success earlier and earlier in their tenures. And it's unfortunate because I've always said this. I think it took me, for example, at least 2 years to feel like I truly belonged in any football program at the high school level, the collegiate level, or the professional level. And that third year is really when the lights go on for players. And so think about that as a coach. If that's the perspective from a player standpoint, a coach is coaching those players. So in order for these guys to really feel fluent in your language, in your system, they need to be with you for a couple of years. Now, there's huge changes with college football. Transfer portal, it feels like it's just ever present. It's always a threat. And NIL has changed things in terms of player retention. So that's all becoming harder and harder. But if you can keep a core of players in your building, in your program, and continue and have a continuum where, at least most of the spokes of that wheel are staying close to the hub, man, you'll have some success. And he's done a good job of that, especially defensively. Sean Lewis has done a pretty good job retaining that core, the core close to the hub, the spokes close to the hub of the wheel. And they're going to build on it this preseason as we have 2 weeks left until kickoff.
Which is unbelievable. Now, I want to get your perspective on Trey White, because we watched him last year. He breaks out. Top 5 in the nation, and I think in tackles for loss and in sacks. Yeah. You went up against guys like this before collegiately and professionally, like these twitchy, edge, do everything guys. What is it about Trey when you watch him? He's back for another year. There's going to be so much attention on him, but what is it about Trey that makes him special?
So I went back on the season because I'm so excited for the start of this season. I was so excited he stayed with the program, and I watched every single play where he had a tackle for loss or sack, or he factored in on the play from a rundown standpoint. And what he does is he doesn't present a flat surface to make contact with for a blocker. So as an offensive lineman, the biggest frustration you have going against a guy like a Trey White is he gives you his shoulder, or he gets skinny, so to speak. He is such a good he has such good hip fluidity that he's able to turn and present such a small target that you have to make contact with, that once you do, good luck keeping your hands on him. Secondarily, he'll twist away from you. And it's so frustrating for guys who are plodding around out there, maybe don't have the fastest feet. So you'll see against lesser athletes at the offensive line position really struggle against him. Plus, he can get close to the earth. Man, this guy can bend. So when he's coming around the corner, he can get low, he can get underneath your pads, and that affects you in 2 ways. Obviously, your hand placement, again, it's a huge struggle getting to the quarterback. He can run the ring, we call it, when you're off the edge. And then also, because he can get lower than you, that means when he decides to hit you with the bull rush, and this factored a couple of times, and not just on plays where he was credited for sacks, also QB pressures where he's backing up an offensive lineman into the lap of the quarterback. That shrinks the pocket. It factors on plays. It'll stop a good open throw, and it'll force a quarterback out the backside to throw a check down. Those things matter too, and he's done it all. And so huge excitement level for him being back on this defense.
You know a thing about offensive linemen, right? There's a thing or two. I mean, last year's team, the offensive line, was a big problem. Injuries played a role in that early on.
Yeah.
But I just like, can we get a healthy offensive line? The excitement has to be from like, okay, hey, watching this team with a healthy offensive line is what, this offense you're going to need to do.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. And look, health, obviously it's a fleeting thing. Sometimes you're lucky, sometimes you're not. But I think part of health, especially up front on the offensive line, is having everything look like a typewriter. All the keys are hitting at the right time. It looks like a well-oiled machine, so to speak. So everybody is moving in concert with each other. You don't have anybody unsure of their steps, anybody unsure of the play call, anybody unsure of the adjustments up front. And part of what really helps that is having solidarity at the QB position, because that is obviously the mouthpiece of the offense. So making this decision with Jaden heading into the season and having Denegal start here at Snapdragon Stadium and having that same voice barking at you over the course of the preseason, throughout the final 2 weeks of your preparation leading into Stony Brook on Thursday in 2 weeks, it's really important, and that will help health, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully.
We're up against it. It is amazing to see Rich. Now, are you sticking around here like all night long?
I feel like Rich has talked
tomorrow?
more in this segment than he has all morning.
Probably.
That is true.
KGB.
It's the longest segment I've had in about, I don't know, 8 months.
Are you okay? You need water?
Yeah, actually, if I could, I forgot my Nalgene bottle. No, yeah, I'm hanging for a little bit. Yeah, so if you guys want me to
hang with us for a break.
Yeah.
Brendan Hill with San Diego State is going to join us in 15 minutes. Rich will be with us on the other side. We're getting ready for Fan Fest here tonight. We're getting you ready for Padres and Dodgers. Sean Lewis is going to join us at the 5 o'clock hour. JD Wicker's joining us to come as well. We're here until 7 p.m. Don't go anywhere, John and Jim. John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760 Fan Fest at Snapdragon Stadium coming up tonight at 7. Free event. Get free tickets at goaztecs.com. We've got a John and Jim that goes to 7 p.m. tonight, so 3 to 7.
Nice.
Sean Lewis is going to join us in the 5 o'clock hour. JD Wicker, yay, we're going till 7 p.m.
You guys get overtime pay?
No, we don't.
What's that?
No. Rich Ornberger hanging out. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. You can hear him mornings, 101.5 KGB. We're talking some football. We're talking some Padres baseball as well. It's like, it's funny because the football offseason is so long.
Yeah.
You know, like when it starts, you're
Feels
like
forever.
When's it ever going to get here again? And then you kind of look up, and not just, we got college football in 2 weeks. We have the NFL in like 3 weeks. I mean, everything just catches up on you a little bit. But I remember, like, when last year ended from a San Diego State perspective, like, we got to wait so long just for the opportunity. I go back to when the Padres last year lost the Dodgers. You're like, you've come all this way.
Yeah.
Now you're a year away from maybe having that opportunity or not. You went through it as a player as well. Like, it's kind of a weird dichotomy, isn't it?
It is, and it's such an enormous frustration, especially when your season ends in a disappointing fashion when it's over, because even when you see it coming, it still feels sudden, if that makes sense. It's there. You're seeing the same faces over and over again. You're kind of in that tunnel where you can't stray too far from the road because you'll brush up against something that straightens you out, and then all of a sudden it's all over. You know, your schedule is completely different, and it feels like you're out of that tunnel and you can see the light of day again. But you almost you enjoy it. You know, you're in it with your guys, with your brothers. Football teams become family. Your main communication is with your coaches and your teammates, especially the ones in your position group. And then all of a sudden it just comes to a sudden halt, and it's jarring, and it's unfortunate. It's even unfortunate when you have success, because unless you ultimately win a championship, or you are, I don't know, I guess you've achieved everything you possibly could have imagined at the outset of a season. I mean, there's always that weird bitterness that's waiting for you on the other side, and then tomorrow I got to wake up and realize, oh yeah, we have to climb that mountain all over again in a few months, and that's tough.
What do you see as far as the outlook for the football season this year for the Aztecs? 3 wins last year. Do you think they can double that this season with their schedule?
I'm super optimistic. I think they could. I really do. I think this is a well-led team from the top down, and I want to talk about the athletic director, JD Wicker. I think he's made smart decisions with many of the athletic programs, certainly the football team. I think Sean Lewis is a strong coach, and obviously that's the second layer. And then the coaching staff he's assembled, and some of the faces and names he's been able to keep, because coaching retention is really difficult these days too.
Yeah. Everything's hard to keep here in college athletics.
It just feels like a train, and everybody's just grabbing on as it rolls forward. But he's done a nice job of collecting some really talented staff members to put around this team, where, again, we talked about the defense, how he's kept some of the core players. There's going to be a lot of transition. They lost a lot of bodies too, but I have belief in this culture, in this system that he's put together. And I think he's had a really good influence on this team. It feels like there's a forward lean this offseason. It feels like this team is ramping up, and it's happening at the right time.
I want to get your thoughts on this. So Jaden Denigal, who was recently named the starting quarterback, spent 3 years in Michigan. He played for Jim Harbaugh. He was J.J. McCarthy's understudy in 2023. He actually got on the field in 2023. Right?
Yeah.
Not a ton, because Michigan ended up winning a national championship, but he was on the field through a touchdown pass, I think, as well. What's the value in being in that environment? Now, he wasn't on the field every play, but he played for Jim Harbaugh. He won a national championship. He played under J.J. McCarthy. What's the value in that?
He saw college football at the highest perceivable level, and he's been there all the way through the rigor that it takes to be a champion. And I say this all the time. It doesn't matter if you're a starter or you're a backup. You're a Division I college football player, and that means you are literally a heartbeat. And Jaden Denigal will tell you this about his career: a heartbeat from being on the football field. You go from wearing a headset, not 100% certain where you left your helmet, to being on the football field or in the locker room waiting to hear the news on your quarterback's ankle or his knee or whatever, wondering whether or not you're going to get the start next week. And that's what it takes to be a backup, being a starter, obviously, like he is now just announced, the preparation goes up a level, the accountability goes up a level, but being the guy behind the guy in a program that had success to that point, and being a part of a program that saw the highest heights of college football, it only benefits his team. I mean, you see it with the Padres. We were just talking about the Padres moments ago. How many times did they bring a guy into their clubhouse as a character guy who has World Series experience?
Mm-hmm.
It's just important.
Across all sports. Yeah.
It's just what you want. You want to surround your team with as many winners as possible. And Jaden Denegal is a winner.
Trey White, we had him on at a golf event a couple months ago, I want to say. He said something that was very interesting. Talking about last year's team.
Yeah.
Just flat out said, a lot of guys in that team weren't pulling on the same rope. Guys were in their own agendas. Guys had their own, things that they were doing. And that's something that they got to cut out for this year's team. I mean, like, that's like the most difficult thing is when you're part of a team and you have people that are, doing their own thing or pulling on a different rope. And it's just, I mean, that's got to be the worst thing as for a team sport.
I heard the interview. You guys did a great job. He did a great job. And I give him a lot of credit for saying it because oftentimes you'll hear players, and I know, and I've been there, you make excuses or you obscure certain hard truths from the general public because either A, you don't want to admit it, or B, you want to protect the culture.
Yeah.
But I think if you are going to solve a problem, the first thing you need to understand is the problem.
Right.
And there it is.
Yeah,
like
100%.
if you are aware that guys aren't doing the right things, or in his terminology, pulling the rope in the same direction, you got to find those guys and either put your arm around them and say, hey, we need more out of you. Or unfortunately, sometimes you got to either put the pressure on them for them to leave the program, which is a part of coaching, and it's the hardest part of coaching now at the collegiate level, or, hope that the players you bring in to compete either teach that player to compete better, to perform, to pull on the rope the same direction, or they're going to find themselves a seat on the bench.
Yeah, for sure.
Rich, it's amazing seeing you, man. Can't wait for it. 2 weeks from tonight. San Diego State, Stony Brook, stone's throw from where you grew up.
Yeah, that's right. I grew up
Island.
in East Meadow, New York. Stony Brook is about 45 minutes east of me. The Seawolves.
Yeah, not exactly a stone's throw away, by the way, from San Diego State.
It's
But
a
the
long walk.
Aztecs against Stony Brook,
a couple days.
2 weeks from
That's fine.
tonight. Rich, amazing seeing you. Looking forward to being on the call with you
Thanks,
again,
buddy.
man. Thanks for
you
swinging
guys.
by.
Thanks for having me on.
All right, Brendan Hill, San Diego State's assistant AD for student athlete development and NIL, will join us next. Sean Lewis at 5:15, JD Wicker at 6:15. Don't go anywhere. John and Jim. All right, hey guys, it is John and Jim again for the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the Players Place, and now open the hotel and spa at Hamul Casino Resort. It's the next level of luxury. It's arrived. Treat yourself. They've got a stunning new stay for you, rooftop relaxation, indulgent spa treatments, all the thrills of Hamul Casino Resort, now all in one unforgettable destination.
And savor San Diego's ultimate endless dining experience at the all-new Hamul 23 from their world-famous lobster brunch, served every morning to their VIP endless dining experience each evening. Indulge in chef-curated specialties, seafood, prime cuts, and decadent desserts, all with stunning panoramic views.
We love the food over there. It's terrific.
Love it.
As Tony Gwynn Sports Pub, you can watch all the sports action, right? We're heading down the backstretch of the Major League Baseball season, college football, NFL, about to get underway. Enjoy the food. Enjoy the drinks. Enjoy it all at Tony Gwynn Sports Pub, the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the Players' Place.
All right, this update is brought to you by Staples Stores. Padres have an off day today. They lead the Dodgers by 1 game in the National League West. They start a 3-game series with them up in L.A. tomorrow night. Michael King was expected to make the start tomorrow night, but earlier this afternoon, Padres announced that he's going on the 15-day IL with a left knee inflammation. Randy Vasquez has been recalled to the active roster. How many times have we all said that was easy? Well, the Staples Easy button is back. It's got everyone saying it again for custom prints, shipping services, even passport photos, plus quality products delivered next day to over 98% of the U.S. Staples. That was easy.
The Scarlet and Black on full display tonight at SDSU Fan Fest. We're live at Snapdragon Stadium with all the insight and analysis for the open practice at 7:05 and the opener in 2 weeks versus Stony Brook. Back to John and Jim.
All right, we are at Snapdragon Stadium. Aztecs on the field tonight, under the lights, scrimmaging, getting ready for 2 weeks from tonight. Brendan Hill is with us. He's been with us before a number of times, assistant AD for student-athlete development and NIL. And by the way, before we welcome Brendan in, you can get here tonight. It's another spectacular night in San Diego. Tickets are free. You can see the Aztecs for first time under the lights. You can see the new quarterback, Jaden Denigal. Just go to goaztecs.com. Get some free tickets. Get out here tonight. You played college football. You must be so excited for the return of the football season.
Absolutely. I always tell the guys around the facility, we had some preseason meetings, kickoff meetings, and things like that, and I still get the itch just from the time of year, the smell of the grass, all those things. So really excited for our student athletes to get out there and show what they can do this year.
How excited are you for year 2 of Sean Lewis, now seeing them on the field, practice, training camp? How excited are you for this season?
Super excited. I think one thing that I have the luxury of is being in the building and being around the program constantly, right? And I was telling someone yesterday that it's amazing when you see someone kind of go about their work consistently every day in, day out. You realize that only good things come from that, right? The way people prepare and they just show up and they stick to their mission, their vision for what they're trying to accomplish. Only good things can come. So I have high expectations as do they this upcoming year. And I'm really excited to see them kick off in 2 weeks.
Just 2 weeks from tonight against Stony Brook. So Brendan Hill is with us. He's currently the assistant athletic director for student athlete development and NIL. So let's start there. It's always evolving, right? Yeah. So the NIL space, how's it evolving specifically at San Diego State for your department and for these student athletes?
Well, my new title, leading student athlete development and NIL, it's really the intersection of supporting our students holistically, right? So the new house settlement allows us to directly compensate student athletes and for their name, image, and likeness and things like that, and kind of bring some of those things that traditionally were outside of our purview with the collectives and things like that under our purview. And as we start to transition into that model, it's important that our students are still learning things that will they can take with them forever, right? Mental health, financial literacy, all those things that they need to be well-rounded people. And so that's kind of my role now, is overseeing both of those units and making sure our student athletes receive those wraparound services. And they just because they're being compensated doesn't mean that we take our foot off the gas and support them holistically. So
it feels like NIL, it's not a straight line. It's like just a web of different things that could happen in the NIL space. As far as it changing and evolving, what can you tell us about how it is doing that right now?
Oh my goodness, man. It's busy. And I have to give a shout out to Abby Crawford. We just hired her as our new NIL coordinator. So my old role.
Shout out Abby.
Shout out to Abby. She came to us from the University of Florida, and she was helping their ecosystem there. But it's evolving because we're still trying to, once again, like I just mentioned, we're taking on some of those things that maybe a collective used to do, and we're tasked with those things now. So building that infrastructure a little bit, but then also not taking our foot off the gas on the true partnerships and brand deals that we've traditionally, I've traditionally led. So we're really excited. We have a partnership coming up with J-Lab that's going to feature Jaden Denegal, Trey White, and J-Lab's a big brand partner of ours. They're based in Carlsbad. So when people, once again, you've heard me say this before, when people wonder how they can support true endorsement deals in NIL, it's like, okay, if you have a chance to buy your son or daughter headphones for Christmas, buy some J-Labs, right? Like support J-Lab, because if J-Lab does well, they continue to pour into our student athletes, and it just helps the whole ecosystem.
What about on the other side? I'm glad you mentioned that. Brendan Hill is with us. Let's say you're an Aztec fan and you're listening right now to this conversation, and you are a local business owner, because there's thousands of San Diegans that own local businesses.
Absolutely.
And you want to work with a student athlete, whether it's a football player like Jaden Denegal, or a men's basketball player like Miles Bird, or a women's basketball player, or a softball player. You can do that, right? I mean, you can connect a business to a student athlete, and they can help promote your local brand, right?
Absolutely. And so that's exactly right. Local businesses. We just had a sit down with a local pizza shop yesterday.
Okay.
Abby and I did, and had lunch and talked about all the potential that there is to support student athletes. But the real key is our fan base and our alumni base and our San Diego market. When they see these partnerships on display, they support those businesses that support our student athletes, whether it's Blenders or J-Lab or whatever it is. If you're a local, and that's the business benefit of being a local business, right? Is you're going to get to see that ROI almost instantly if we really activate our support network. And we have 500,000 living alum, 1 in 7 adults in San Diego with a degree came from San Diego State. So we have all these, our tentacles are out there. We just need people to really get behind the brands, and then the brands get in touch with us, learn how you can support student athletes. And then on the other side of the house that I represent, the student athlete development side, we have a great internship program, 35 paid student athlete internships this summer, both in our department and with businesses in the community. And we're celebrating that tonight here before the Fan Fest. So
that's amazing.
That's really cool.
As far as, a collaboration goes between NIL, student athletes, and helping them get paid through, deals and whatnot. Talk about the collaboration that goes into that from the student athlete with you and NIL here at San Diego State.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what's integral in our role. Abby and I, our role is we have access to the student schedule. They have everything from practice to treatment to training table to class to study hall and tutoring. So it's really a logistical feat to coordinate that with brands, with the student, with coaches, and all these people, make sure they don't miss study hall to go make a little money on NIL, right? So that's kind of our role, is kind of running traffic control and making sure that we are serving in between the brand and the student athlete, and making sure everybody does what they're supposed to do. If a student's supposed to be somewhere at a certain time in a certain uniform, that we help them navigate that, coordinate with the Omer and our equipment staff and all those types of things that people don't see. So that's kind of what we do. We're kind of the intermediary, and we help both sides.
Brendan, before you go, I'm curious to get your thoughts on the value of retaining as many pieces as Sean Lewis did, especially today, where across all sports there's so much movement. There's some college football programs that had probably 70 or 80 changes on their roster between last year and this. That hasn't been the case at San Diego State. With all these returnees, as someone that played college football, what can the value be of bringing all these pieces back?
Continuity and leadership. I've had the pleasure of getting to know Trey and getting to know Chris and all these players that have come back, and even the players that we added like Jaden. And you just see the team not take as long to gel. They understand what's expected of them. And that's why I say I think you're going to see a evolve product on the field this year and really want people to get behind us, buy tickets, come out, show up, support our Aztecs because the student athletes need you.
Get here tonight. Again, free tickets at goaztecs.com.
Beautiful night.
It's a perfect night. San Diego State scrimmaging. Jaden Denigal, the starting quarterback. You can see him under the lights tonight here at Snapdragon Stadium. Brendan, we always appreciate you taking time for us. Thanks for swinging by, man.
Thank you guys for having me.
We're going to have Sean Lewis join us at 5:15. We have J.D. Wicker joining us at 6:15. And Flash Gordon, the ex-Major League pitcher, is going to join us via phone coming up at 5 p.m. We'll talk about an event this weekend down at Petco Park. And on the other side, the impact of the injury to Michael King on the Padres' chances in the second half. This is John and Jim. Stay with us. All right, so if you're maxed out on credit cards or struggling with high interest debt, you could pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, guys, it is Schaefer. Get cash out now without touching your low-rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan Program at Loan Pronto, it really is amazing. One Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours, paid off debt, renovated their kitchen, cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. Just a huge turnaround. Loan Pronto instant approvals, low rates, no hard credit pull up front. It's your home equity. You can use it. Get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy, low monthly payment. Call Loan Pronto now for a free instant appraisal for your home and see how much cash you can get today. Call now to start the conversation. That's 619-207-4336 or loanpronto.com. 619-207-4336. Get debt relief now at loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. On approved credit, NMLS consumeraccess.org.
is CSU Fan Fest, live from Snapdragon Stadium. As we count down to the Aztecs opener in 2 weeks versus Stony Brook.
Throw goes for the end zone, and it is caught for a touchdown. Jude Wolf.
We're giving you everything you need, plus a look ahead to tonight's open practice with John and Jim.
All right, back here from Snapdragon Stadium, San Diego State's Fan Fest and football scrimmage tonight at 7:05. Free tickets at goaztecs.com. Sean Lewis will join us at 5:15. JD Wicker, San Diego State's athletic director, at 6:15. We've got the extra hour. We're going until 7 p.m. here today. Flash Gordon, who had a terrific Major League Baseball career as a starter and reliever, will join us at 5 p.m. We'll talk more about this high school showcase that's in town this weekend with Flash Gordon. He'll join us coming up in about 15 minutes. We started today talking about the impact of the injury to Michael King. If you missed this, it literally broke a minute before we came on the air at 3 p.m. The Padres tweeting out that Michael King has been placed on the 15-day IL with knee inflammation, and Randy Vasquez has called from AAA. We assume, although I read in the UT, he's not yet listed as a starter tomorrow, Vasquez. Like, they could go with an opener and then turn to Vasquez after a first or second inning. But presumably you're going to see 4 or 5 innings tomorrow from Randy Vasquez replacing Michael King.
Well, just for tomorrow's game, it's a good thing they're coming off an off day, because if you know, they could go opener tomorrow if they wanted. They could do
Really
Randy Vasquez.
they want,
They can do whatever they want. My guess is Randy Vasquez will start. That's my guess.
Okay.
Because you just recalled him. I don't know his last start in the minors.
I just saw it. He threw 68 pitches. I don't know the day of it. I'm assuming it was 3 or 4 days ago or 5 days ago.
So maybe not. I don't know. Maybe they're thinking opener. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure the day he threw. It's a good point. Like, when did he last throw? Because you weren't banking on Michael King going on the IL. So it doesn't automatically line up.
Let's see when he pitched last.
He threw 68 pitches when he did it. So he threw a good number of pitches the last time he threw. But yeah, it's a good point. It's a very good point.
Randy Vasquez, El Paso.
Are you going to see his day by day? Or his game log?
Yeah, I don't know when he pitched last. It was definitely this past week. Yeah, I can't find it.
Well, he certainly, I would assume he could start for you.
I mean, it's out there. I just can't find it.
Yeah, I mean, I would assume he'd be capable of starting for you, but I don't know the answer to that.
If you go opener, though, you have a couple options that I think they're going to go with. Number one, David Morgan. I think Morgan would start the game. He can give you a couple innings.
Sure.
And he's pitched great this year. Then if you wanted to go all 5, you can go all 5. Multiple innings from Morahone, multiple innings from Adam or Estrada.
Not my preferred strategy.
It's not the preferred strategy.
Not tomorrow.
I get it, but
it's a lot.
In a pinch.
Yeah, in a pinch, you could do it.
You could do it.
I agree.
And what do we say?
Winners find solutions.
Hey, are they going to do what we are talking about right now in a game this year? Probably not, unless it's against the Dodgers, unless it means a lot.
Right.
And tomorrow's game, I mean, they all mean a lot.
Yeah.
They all mean a lot here going forward. So if Mike Schill wants to do that, I mean, it's there for him. But you're right. I don't think they're gonna do that because. Then what about Saturday night? And what about Sunday night? And the
next
rest of the week?
Yeah. So you put yourself behind.
You're gonna need a little length here, probably 3 or 4 innings. Did you find it?
No, and I saw it somewhere earlier. I'm assuming he's available to give you multiple innings. I wouldn't expect him to be recalled if he's just gonna not pitch on Friday or only be available for like an inning. I would think they'd go with the guy that could give them 3 or 4 plus innings. So I'm assuming he hasn't thrown in the last. It's at the UT, I'm sure. Maybe someone has in the chat. When's the last time he threw?
Well, Luis Campisano hit a couple of home runs last night.
That's great. I don't know the last time he threw, but he did throw.
Okay. Oh, I know when. 4 days ago.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. So he's going to start tomorrow.
So yeah, that was Sunday.
Yep, he started on Sunday. He's going to pitch. He's going to start tomorrow night. So the conversation we just had doesn't matter anymore.
Is void.
Yeah, he'll start tomorrow night.
Yeah, I mean, but the issue remains the issue, which is they haven't asked Randy Vasquez to be a guy to go 5 innings, and then you're asking your bullpen to cover, 4 2/3 or 5 innings or even more than that. And again, for one game, of course, you can do it. You can do it multiple times in the second half of the year. But Mike Schultz has been very outspoken about overusing his bullpen.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he really has. And you've gotten length here and there from guys like Pivetta and Cease, and then you haven't necessarily from guys like Darvish. Occasionally, he's coming off a very good start, or Michael King, who went just a couple of innings. Nestor Cortez, they've been more careful with. They've gone to their bullpen in the 5th inning in his first 2 starts. But yeah, is it overcomable for a game? Of course it is. Is it overcomable for the rest of the year? I mean, it's a loss. It's a big loss if you didn't have Michael King. Nobody's saying he's out for the year. But then again, nobody's saying he's coming back September 1st either.
And don't let this little dark cloud of Michael King going on the IL, distract everybody from the fact that this team is playing really, really good and that they have a 1-game lead in the National League West.
Mm-hmm.
It's not doomsday scenario today, guys. It's not, even though I've seen the chat, I've seen social media, people are freaking out. It's not the end of the world. This team is still playing great baseball. Their bullpen still intact. Their lineup, their offense has been much better. They're 14-3 in their last 17. Yeah, is it a bummer that you see this news today, Michael King, when everything is going like perfectly for you guys?
Mm-hmm.
Michael King goes on the IL. At least it's not an arm though. At least it's not an arm. But still, it's not the end of the world. And I guarantee you, if the Padres take 2 or 3 this weekend at Dodger Stadium, we're not going to be talking about it come Monday. Like, Michael King's on the IL still.
Yeah, I agree. It's only the end of the world if you end up not having him when you really need him.
Or if he misses the rest of the season.
Yeah, then it is the end of the world. Like, you can win 2 out of 3 against the Dodgers, but it goes back to your initial point. I'd prefer to lose 2 out of 3 against the Dodgers if someone told me Michael King was healthy. Fully healthy for the rest of the year, I'll take the series loss. As opposed to not knowing if he'll pitch again, that to me isn't even a conversation. You're going to get to October where everything is at a premium, and if this were the case, if you're missing a guy with a 2.8 in his career in a Padres uniform, like, you're missing a lot. If that's the case.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I don't want to see Randy Vasquez or Nestor Cortez starting a postseason game.
Yeah, you're asking for trouble, right?
You are asking for trouble. Yes, you are.
And you don't want to turn to your bull and say, well, your bullpen could bail you out against the Brewers in Milwaukee in the 3rd inning. I mean, maybe. But you're asking a lot of your bullpen.
But remember what you said about the schedule in the DS.
Yeah, the off days. You only need 3 starters in the DS.
You only need 3 starters in the DS. Now, if you make a wild card round,
you only need 3 starters.
You only need 3 starters in the wild card round. But once you get to the division series,
you need a 4th starter.
I mean, there is a scenario potentially, if the Padres make it as a wild card, that like Randy Vasquez or Nestor Cortez, if Michael King didn't return,
right,
will be starting game 1 for you in the DS, potentially against the Dodgers.
And game 5.
Yeah.
Right. So when you say you can't get around
So when you say it like that,
yeah, it's a good point. Well, there's the value of the bye.
Well, wouldn't the game 2 starter be game 5?
Well, game 1 and 4 and 2 and 5. But yeah, you're right. So 1 and 4. But then he'd be either way. But there's the value of winning the division.
100%.
Because if you do win the division, you will not need
up.
4 starters until the National League Championship Series if you get there.
Yep.
But if you don't win the division, you could need a 4th starter as soon as the first game of the NLDS, should you make it to the NLDS.
So brings us back to this weekend and the next 6 games against the Dodgers.
Maybe go win those series.
They're very important. The division is the goal right now, right?
Oh, absolutely, it's the goal.
And then once they do win the division, or if they win the division, then the next goal is, all right, World Series. But right now, I'm with you. I think the goal is set in stone for the rest of the regular season.
Mm-hmm.
We'll worry about the World Series and the postseason when it comes. Win the division. That is the goal right now. And they are, man, it coming up in at the 5 o'clock hour here. We're going to tell you the lineup of the last time the Padres led the National League West. It's kind of crazy.
Well, we're actually going to talk to Flash Gordon.
I said next hour.
Okay, in the next hour we will. And it's been a long time since they led the NL West this late. It was, 15 years ago?
Yes, it was.
It was 15 years ago. You want to read it real quick?
Sure, I'll read it real quick. All right, so let me pull it up here. 2010 was the last time that the Padres led the division this late in the season. It was September 25th, right? We all know how that season went down to the final 3 games up in San Francisco. But listen to this lineup.
Yeah.
Will Venable leading off. David Eckstein at second. Miguel Tejada at short, Adrian Gonzalez, Ryan freaking Ludwig, Oscar Salazar in left field, Chase Headley at third, Nick Hundley behind the plate, and John Garland on the mound.
That's the lineup of the Padres the last time they were in first place this late in the year. And it was
wow, look at that lineup.
Last time
seasons ago.
Yeah, wow, look at that lineup. It's the last time the Padres held sole possession of first place in the NL West this late in the season, yes.
All right, Flash Gordon is going to join us on the other side. Sean Lewis at 5:15. Don't go anywhere. Hour 3 of John and Jim comes your way next right here on San Diego Sports 760.
All right, this update is brought to you by Staples Stores. Padres have an off day today. They start a 3-game series up in LA against the Dodgers tomorrow night. They have a 1-game lead over the Dodgers in the NL West. Tomorrow night's matchup will be Clayton Kershaw against now TBD, as Michael King has been placed on the 15-day IL earlier today with left knee inflammation. Randy Vasquez has been recalled to the active roster. How many times have we all said that was easy? Well, the Staples easy button is back, and it's got everyone saying it again for custom prints, shipping services, even passport photos, plus quality products delivered next day to over 98% of the U.S. Staples. That was easy.
Can you feel it? The gridiron looms. In 2 weeks, the Scarlet and Black open up the season versus Stony Brook. But today, we're live at Snapdragon Stadium getting ready for SDSU Fan Fest. Come on, let's go! And the first look at what Sean Lewis and the Aztecs are preparing.
Look for Nate Beardy, comes down with it for a touchdown in the near side.
Now we go to the voice of the Aztecs, John Schaefer and Jim Russell.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is hour 3 of John and Jim. We're here until 7 because San Diego State's Fan Fest is out at Snapdragon Stadium, and we are getting you ready. We're going to switch gears, though, momentarily because we're expected to be joined by Flash Gordon. Tom Gordon, 3-time All-Star in the major leagues. Great career as a starter and a reliever. Mentioned earlier that he's one of the only players in baseball history with 100 wins in his career, 100 saves, and 100 holds. And we've talked about this Dick's All-American Classic. It's this Sunday at 5 p.m. at Petco Park. It's one of the premier high school showcases in the country put on by Perfect Game. It's a free event. It's free to attend this Sunday at Petco Park at 5 p.m., and the first 1,000 fans are going to receive a free poster with all the players on it as well. All you have to do is enter at the home plate gate at Petco Park, but a free event to attend. There's even an autograph session with these former major leaguers like Flash Gordon, and you can get all the information at pgallamerican.com. That's pgallamerican.com. Brent, let me know if you have him. If not, I have his number, so I can send you his number. Okay, I'm texting it to you right now because I think he tried you. I'm texting you his number right now. All right, so we'll have Flash Gordon with us momentarily. And we'll talk about this upcoming event this weekend. He was in Japan. He got to San Diego, I believe, today. He was managing a Perfect Game team, a team for the U.S. in Japan. They win the tournament. Flash Gordon. So this guy with 100-something career wins. He's been involved with Perfect Game for a long time, and he was in Japan, and now he's in San Diego for the weekend. So big. I mean, listen, we got Padres, Dodgers.
Huge weekend here.
We got Perfect Game. We've got Fan Fest here tonight. So there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on, which is better than the alternative when nothing is good. We have some weeks like that over the course of the year.
Yes, we do. We have weeks where nothing happens, but we are not short of things happening this weekend and next weekend as well, and really for the rest of the year. I mean, we got Aztec football starting in 2 weeks, Aztecs basketball starting here soon, and then Padres baseball for the rest of the season, hopefully a deep run in October. A lot's happening.
There's a ton happening. All right, so we were just touching on this Dick's All-American Classic, Sunday at 5 at Petco, free event. All the info at pgallamerican.com. We have Flash Gordon, the 3-time All-Star, the starter, the reliever, the do-everything guy in the major leagues. And I was told earlier today that you were managing a U.S. team in a tournament in Japan, and you just got to San Diego now for this weekend's event. I know you've been involved with Perfect Game for the better part of the last decade. First of all, thanks for joining us here today. And secondly, how was this event in Japan, this tournament that you were just managing in?
Well, I thank you guys for having me. And like I said, man, I've had wings on my body because I've been flying all over the place, and it's fun for me. It really is. I enjoy it. I enjoy being a part of Perfect Game and what we've done in regards to the kids and giving them that platform to showcase their talents.
What are you looking forward to most this weekend here at Petco Park with the game coming up here with Perfect Game?
Well, the most important thing is the kids, and these guys have done such a wonderful job of preparing themselves from the time they were 7 or 8 years old to get into this place where they're All-Americans. And, it's as a coach, I really appreciate the opportunity that I get a chance to hear how they've done things, what has motivated them, how they prepare, how they kept the grades up, because there's so much that goes into it. But it's not just playing baseball, but for the most part, you get an opportunity to play the game you love, but in front of all the people that show up and all the scouts and your parents and families, because for them, this is a big showcase. This is a game that, I'm sorry, not a showcase, but this is a game that you get to showcase your talents at the very elite of elite that'll be going into college and professional ball. And you want to show out when you're out there on that field. And I enjoy it. I enjoy watching these kids. I enjoyed my opportunity in Japan. I mean, it was what a wonderful event. A Perfect Game put on a great event. We had a lot of people over there that did their jobs in regards to make sure everybody got where they needed to be. We had really good talent. The players played great. We saw some really, really good pitching from Chinese Taipei, Japan, Indonesia. I mean, we just saw quality play that you're seeing improvement in the game, and these kids now are starting to notice one another, recognize one another, and I think the international play is going to definitely get a lot stronger than it has been because they're now actually seeing what our talented travel teams are doing, and they're getting to face us throughout the seasons. It is just going to make them better.
Flash Gordon with us right now. Again, the Dick's All-American Classic this Sunday at 5 p.m. at Petco Park, a free event. You can get there. All the information at pgallamerican.com. That's pgallamerican.com. We want to get your playing career. Of course, here locally, we've all been following the Padres, who have played really good baseball. They're now in first place in the NL West. But I look at the game, even since you retired, it's become even more specialized. But you were able to fill a lot of roles, a successful starter, a great closer, a setup guy as well. What does it take mentality-wise to be able to do all of those things over the course of your career and do them well?
Well, I tell you, first of all, you got to have some discipline. And I tell the kids, discipline, preparation, and the attitude to be every day, go out and realize that, I may play well today. And if I don't, then I have to get ready for tomorrow. And I think being that baseball is an everyday game, I don't think early in my career I really found the niche that would have kept me in the big leagues for a long time. I think once I realized I got to Boston and Jimmy Williams, one of the managers, realized, this kid can throw every single day. And so it would benefit me to be more of a setup and closer because now I get 4 or 5 games a week to pitch in. I don't have to sit and think if I had a bad game or bad start. And like I said, I found my niche. I found an area of the game that I can actually be really good, and I really appreciate it. I had the conversation just with the kids because, we had in Japan, we had everybody that was a pitcher on our team was a starting pitcher. And so, I asked one guy, hey, a starter, 2 guys, our starters getting a little tired. Can you get ready? He said, Coach, I really can't. It takes me 15 to 20 minutes. So I had called a team meeting and I said, guys, remember, just don't ever forget this. I pitched in the major league for a long time and mostly as a reliever. And I made a great living. I had a great time. And there's times where you can now start to figure out, especially at this age, at 15, where you fit into that. And if you get comfortable being a reliever and you can throw strikes and get outs, you can play in the major leagues. I mean, they'll take a reliever just as fast as they'll take a starter because the game has changed. And so the kids was really excited about that. I told them just kind of critique a few things here and there, learn how to get ready a little bit sooner, learn how to play catch if you're on the field, throw the ball across the diamond, getting your arm loose just in case you have to come into the games. But so I'm always trying to teach. I'm always trying to help and give guys a little bit of a nugget about what we're seeing in the game today. We're seeing a 2-way player in Shohei. That brings excitement to the game. I think we could have possibly seen that years ago. So with these kids, some of them can do so many more things. They can be reliever. They can hit. The teams are now being able to select them and put them in positions, but they also have a chance to being maybe a 2-way player down the line.
Yeah, that's great advice. Tom, you have one of the best nicknames ever, Flash Gordon. Who first gave you that nickname and how did it become the name that you have now, Flash Gordon? Like everyone calls you Flash. Yeah, I mean, Bo Jackson, you would not believe it. Bo Jackson. When I got drafted in '86 and went to Sarasota to the academy. Bo he had that day off. He wasn't, I was starting the game and there were a kid that was from New York. They called him Lightning and Bo just came up with Flash versus Lightning. And the Sarasota newspaper happened to be there just to kind of take a look at my game. That start, I was my first start as a professional with Kansas City, and they just took off from there. I mean, I think I had about 10 or 12 strikeouts in that game. I struck the kids out from New York. They were calling Lightning. So it just took off from there.
And as I continued to progress, the flash came with it. And, of course, even at home now, I don't hear my name. I don't hear Thomas. I don't hear Tom. Everybody calls me Flash. And I'm grateful for baseball. I'm grateful to be in a position to even have a nickname like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing, obviously, what sports are able to provide. I wanted to ask you this, Flash, because you were in Japan, but you've traveled. I mean, baseball, you've traveled the world with, obviously. You won a World Series with the Phillies in 2008, but you've traveled the world with Perfect Game as well, right? It's not just Japan. You've been all over the place over the last decade, haven't you?
Yeah. And it's been so gratifying to me because I went to Barcelona, and that was a solid tournament for our younger kids. We took 2 teams. We had a solid tournament. We had a great time. The kids played great. We lost to Australia. They were really strong. Played great too. There were teams over there that gave us a tough time, and that was good, like I said, to see, because in some ways we wanted our kids to be challenged and not feel like once they walked on the field they were going to beat everybody, and that wasn't the case over there, in Barcelona. And then Australia I went to last year, and that was very, very nice. Again, Australia played great. A couple of the Spanish teams played very, very well. They were coached very well. It was just great coaching, playing, the tournaments that Perfect Game set up, and how we had it detailed for everything, and all the parents could come in regards. It's just been nothing but a positive. I can see, countries like Japan and China and all these other places in some ways getting on the Perfect Game league play and starting to want to be more involved in the Perfect Game travel scene.
You set a record with 54 consecutive saves in your career spanning over a couple seasons. If you were to give advice to closers nowadays, what would some advice you give them, especially guys that, may get down if they blow a save here or there? I get a chance to talk to a lot of guys about it, because I'll say this. Jimmy Williams gave me the very best advice to be a closer. He said, "You're not Dennis Eckersley, because Eck was on the team. You're not Mariano Rivera. He was one of my closest friends. And of course, and I've played with some of the greatest of greats. But we need Tom Gordon. We need Flash to be Flash. Utilize all your weapons. Use that curveball, because we know you get outs with that pretty easy, but use all your weapons and challenge guys. Go after that first pitch strike. We don't care what it is, because you throw more strikes with your curveball. And I tell kids that, the game has changed a little bit in regards to, you don't have to throw your first pitch has to be a fastball. Sometimes you can actually trick the hitter, play with his mind or emotions when you throw a first pitch slider or first pitch curveball. It just sets the tone that, hey, I'm going to use my off speed a little more. So I use my breaking ball a lot more. When guys was closers, they all came in and they expected that 97, 98 mile an hour fastball. Now, I had one, but at the same time, my curveball was a pitch I took for more strikes. And so I tell kids, find that pitch that you can count on, strike one. And I don't care what it is. You can count on it, strike one. Get ahead with that pitch, and then from there, be aggressive with all your pitches. It's a great thing being a closer, because when that game ends, everybody in the stadium loves you. Yeah.
So just want that feeling, because when you do get it, there's nothing like it in the game of baseball, that you just ended the game.
Flash, we appreciate you taking time for us. We're looking forward to Sunday. This will be Sunday at 5 p.m. at Petco Park, the Dick's All-American Classic. Again, it's a free game at Petco Park. All the information at pgallamerican.com. Flash, enjoy San Diego this weekend, and thanks for hopping on with us.
You got it. Thank you guys for having me.
Sean Lewis, the Aztecs head coach from Snapdragon Stadium, as we get ready for FanFest. On the other side, stay with us on John and Jim. All right, FanFest coming up in about 2 hours from Snapdragon Stadium. What a night it's going to be. And by the way, if you're driving around right now, this is a free event. You can grab the ticket to GoAztecs.com. Your first chance to see the 2025 version of San Diego State's football team under the direction of second-year head coach Sean Lewis, who joins us right now from Snapdragon Stadium. Sean, it's great to see you. And it's here. I mean, these off-seasons, we had Rich Ornberger earlier. It's like the off-season is long, and then all of a sudden it catches up. You're playing for real in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Playing for real tonight. I mean, you're scrimmaging tonight here with your football team.
We are, yeah.
How much are you looking forward to everything to come in tonight here?
Yeah, it's going to be a blast. I was actually, before we just rolled over from Fowler Athletic Center and everything, right, like stood in front of the guys, and it's like, hey guys, like we've embarked upon this journey, the climb that we've been on now for, I believe it's 207 days since we got back together in January, right?
Wow.
And this will be the first time that we do true football activities here in our home, right? And so it's like all the work that we've done, all the training that we've done up into this point and through training camp is for these fun moments, right? So it's like, hey, go have fun, like cut it loose, right? All the hard work, everything that we do, all those beach workouts and all the stuff that's been, shown on the mini series and everything that's been out there. It's for these opportunities, right? And so we're 14 days away and cut it loose and let's go show the character and the personality of this team and, go compete and execute the right way.
You named Jaden Denegal, starting quarterback, yesterday. We had him on. Great kid.
Yeah.
What went into the decision to have him be your starter for the upcoming season?
Yeah, I mean, all of it, right? His leadership abilities, the way that he's earned the respect in the locker room, the way that he has executed at a really, really high level. And the kid's a baller, right? I mean, he can make all the throws. He can allow us to grow the system. And there's probably more that we have in right now, more than we'll ever carry going into a game. But we've been able to just keep loading up volume, keep layering concepts. And he's been able to take it all in stride. And really the past week, he's been operating at a really, really high level. And you can just tell the confidence that the club has in him when he's got the ball in his hands.
Sean Lewis with us right now. Again, FanFest tonight, Snapdragon Stadium. Free tickets at GoAztecs.com. What he mentioned yesterday, he said he learned about preparedness at Michigan, kind of watching J.J. McCarthy, the way he went through the routines in an effort to get ready for the game. What is the value of the experiences that he went through over the last 3 years with Michigan's football program?
Yeah, I mean, when you don't know what the journey is until you've actually walked it, right? And so he's gotten to feel what that process looks like, what that process feels like, and to learn from a guy who, took a team that he wasn't the starter at one point in time and elevate that program to the highest level that you can achieve. And Jaden's a very cerebral kid. He's a very, observant kid. And so, the way he's gone about his process and the way that he's gone about his preparation since we've been together on the Mesa, you can tell he took good notes and was a very studious learner right under JJ, and it has positioned him obviously for this opportunity. And, it's funny, like, just talking with him when we had the conversation, it's like, hey, this is great. This is the next step in your individual climb, and it shouldn't surprise you, right? And now that you've taken this step, hey, let's do the work to add another rung to your own ladder, right? And continue to elevate. And as cool as this is, it should be expected, right? And that's what he's really eager about, to just keep getting better and to keep growing and keep doing what the team needs him to do so that we can all win collectively together.
Where have you seen the biggest growth from your offense from the start of training camp to it is right now?
Continuity along the offensive line, right? I mean, so when we left the spring, there were still a few pieces of the old line that everyone will see tonight that weren't with us. So getting all those guys collectively together and seeing the front and making the calls through the same set of eyes so that those big dancing bears can all be on the same page and execute the way that they have been. And then also the timing and the rhythm of the throw game, right? We kind of probably got through the first quarter of camp, first 4 practices and everything just seemed like just a tick off here, a tick off there. And so, got together with the throw game guys and I was like, hey, like we're going to start throwing routes on air intently each and every single day, and did some things within our practice process that we'd never done, right? It's like, hey, we can keep banging our heads against the wall and say, hey, like we're not getting the results, or right, like, hey, let's grow and let's do this in a different way, and I'm over here with the Wildcats doing 1 cone drill, and Matty J's over here throwing, with this, and the outside receivers are over here. I'm like, guys, we're going to get really good on this. Like, let's all come together and just throw a bunch of routes together full speed, right?
Yeah.
Like, let's not make this harder than it needs to be.
Doing it together works.
Absolutely, right? And so since we've, again, obvious answer is usually the right one, right? Like, don't make this harder. Don't make it harder than it needs to be. But since we've made that stride, right, and that switch, again, the the timing and the rhythm of the throw game has been really, really good. And we've really seen that this past week in quarter 3. We've had 5 straight days of practice leading up to tonight. This will be our 6th straight day of practice, and just the efficiency and the quality of ball across the whole program has elevated because the defense has started out so far ahead, not to get real long-winded here and everything, right? But like, we're really talented in the back end. So like that was causing some of the disruption in the timing. And then you got Trey coming off the edge. That,
good problem to have.
Absolutely. Right.
Yeah.
And so like, we've gotten to feel as a program, like if one phase of the ball doesn't come out, like you're going to get overwhelmed. And there hasn't been any of that. There's been a good back and forth all through camp, and steadily the quality of ball on either side and then how it all comes together in special teams has exponentially gotten better and better and better. And I'm looking forward to our fan base being able to see that tonight.
Sean Lewis with us right now. Again, FanFest coming up, 7:05 Snapdragon Stadium. You can get out here. Free tickets at GoAztecs.com. Take us inside a quarterback room. You've made this point before. I mean, it's obvious, but sometimes you have to say it. Among all the positions, the only one where only one player plays by and large, unless there's an injury, is quarterback.
Right.
I mean, there's examples where there's 2, but the analogy is you don't have any sometimes when you have 2.
Yeah.
So what is it like? You name a starting quarterback, but you've got a really talented group. I mean, Bert Emanuel Jr. comes in from Central Michigan, a terrific athlete, a terrific young quarterback. So what is it like once you name a quarterback, and what are these other quarterbacks? What role will they play for you moving forward?
Yeah, they'll all be important pieces of the puzzle right as we go. And just because, there's a necessary quote unquote role that's defined for the start of the year, that doesn't mean that that's what's going to be your role at the end of the year. Right. And so Bert, as you alluded to, is an exceptionally talented quarterback, and we're going to continue to pour into his development. And again, his response to us naming Jaden has been exactly what you want to see. Again, he's got tremendous competitive spirit. He's got tremendous emotional intelligence and emotional maturity. And, he's responded appropriately, and he knows that he's only a snap away, and he continues to prepare as the starter. And then we got, obviously, we have Crum in the room as well with the young guys also. Right. And so we'll continue their development as we go. But I think it's just a testament, again, how Bert responded, and, for everyone that ultimately, hey, you're a snap away, right? And you got to continue to grow, you got to continue to develop, and you kind of get, at this fork in the road when you're in one of those positions. Either you continue to work while you wait, or you're just going to let time pass by, right? And if you're not working while you're waiting, when the opportunity does come, like, how much more prepared are you going to be? You're going to be in a better spot, rather than if I just, I sulk and, just time's going to go by and eventually it's going to be my time. Well, you're going to be the same person when the opportunity does come. And instead of thriving in the opportunity, you're going to get embarrassed when that opportunity shows up because you haven't gotten better. You haven't been working while you've been waiting. And again, both those guys, Jaden and Bert, since they showed up, like, they've put their chin to their chest and they've been working relentlessly, and Bert will continue to do that. And Bert's going to be a really explosive playmaker for us in a lot of different ways, as well as, the fans will see here as we move into the season.
What can you tell the fan base to expect to see tonight in this scrimmage?
Yeah, so we're going to play 4 quarters of football. We'll play 4 drives of normal down and distance in the first quarter. We're going to do a little bit of a 6-rep punt script when that's said and done. There's some giveaways that we're doing, and marketing is going to do their thing. So we're going to actually have our guys go to the bench and sit through a quote unquote media timeout, right? Because that's something that we don't do in a normal practice, right? And so we have our coaches up in the box and everything as well. So we'll take the iPads out and we'll go through the coaching mechanics and make sure that all our new technology and all the support staff, who are the behind the scenes heroes, have all their stuff dialed in as well. And we'll work out those kinks as we go. As we transition to the second quarter, we're going to do 2 drives from a backed up situation. So simulating like the, opponent pinned us deep in our own territory. And then we'll do 2 drives that will be an end of half situation to get some 1-minute mechanics and everything. Go through the halftime mechanics of it all. We'll still stay outside. It'll be about 8 minutes. We'll do a 5-minute kickoff period. Again, just working the sideline mechanics of all that and making sure that we're clean in that regard. We'll do 3 more drives in the third quarter, another little 6-rack punch script, and then in between the third and the fourth quarter, we'll introduce the new tradition that we're going to do, and the ode to Top Gun and San Diego and all things to enter the danger zone together. Yeah. And then we'll wrap it up with 2 more drives in the fourth quarter. So it'll be good ball. I'm excited about the opportunity to see the guys compete, and it'll be a lot of fun.
You can't just slip that in there. I know you mentioned with the media. When you mentioned Top Gun and San Diego and then college football traditions, I know we might not see it fully on display until Stony Brook on the 20th.
Correct.
But what do you want Aztec fans to know about what you're trying to establish with this tradition?
Yeah, I think things where you can create traditions and make them uniquely your own that tie in directly to a team, so that 20, 25 years down range, this crew can say, hey, we went on a climb together and we were the first ones to do this, and this being 2019, we've rebranded the fourth quarter within our building as the danger zone. And it was one of those things with all of the close ball games, the one possession games that we had last year, right? That we want to win the danger zone. That's one of our goals each and every single week. And so winning the danger zone, aka the fourth quarter, is going to take all of us in all three phases and the community as well. So there'll come a point in time and we'll have this all synced up to where we come out of the media timeout and the horn's going to go off, and we've simulated or acknowledged, hey, we're entering the danger zone collectively together, strong as a fist, and so we're all going to put our fist up. Maybe a little bit of lights, some music, and get the party started as we enter the fourth quarter to win collectively together.
Have you been to the Top Gun House up in?
I have not. No,
it's a pie shop. I have. Yeah,
really.
It's a pie shop now.
It's a pie shop now.
It still stands, but it's a pie shop.
So they have like the Top Gun bike that he drove in the movie. They got the Top Gun house. It's by the Mission Pacific Hotel.
Yeah,
it's a pie shop. Like, you got to
get up there.
Get those offensive linemen.
Yeah, there's like a Top Gun plaque and everything. Yeah,
I've been to the barbecue spot down by the Midway. That was where they did the piano scene, right? And then what was it? Liberty Station was used as like the barracks where they ripped off and everything and all that. So
super cool.
Absolutely.
Super cool. Sean, we appreciate it. We're looking forward to tonight. We're looking forward to 2 weeks from tonight. San Diego State, Stony Brook right here at Snapdragon Stadium. If you're listening, if you're driving around right now, get to Snapdragon Stadium. Perfect night. Aztec football on display. Sean, appreciate you, man.
Guys, thank you.
Sean Lewis,
Aztecs.
head coach of the Aztecs.
Thanks, man.
Darian Hagan is going to join us coming up in a handful of minutes. We're going to talk to San Diego State's running backs coach, was a terrific college player as well at the University of Colorado. Darian Hagan on the other side. Stay with us. It's Sean and Jim.
All right, this update is brought to you by Allstate. Padres have an off day today. They start a 3-game series against the Dodgers up in L.A. tomorrow night. They have a 1-game lead over the Dodgers in the National League West, sitting in first place. Michael King was expected to start tomorrow night against Clayton Kershaw, but earlier this afternoon, the Padres put Michael King on the 15-day IL with left knee inflammation. Randy Vasquez has been recalled to the 26-man roster. Some people just know you could save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Those people are probably saving a carload of cash right now. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first. For a quote today, you're in good hands with Allstate.
The Scarlet and Black on full display tonight at SDSU Fan Fest. We're live at Snapdragon Stadium with all the insight and analysis for the open practice at 7:05 and the opener in 2 weeks versus Stony Brook. Back to John and Jim.
All right, this is fun. We got football coming up in about 90 minutes. Finally, football back in the Mesa, scrimmaging tonight at Snapdragon, a free event. You can grab your tickets coming up at goaztecs.com. That's goaztecs.com. John and Jim with you. We just talked to Sean Lewis. We're now going to catch up with his running backs coach, Darian Hagan, a terrific player in your day, obviously quarterbacking at Colorado. We know national championship, top 5 Heisman finish 1 year as well, now coaching tailbacks in San Diego. First of all, Coach, appreciate you joining us and hope you're doing well, man.
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
What has this transition been like for you? I mean, so much time at Colorado, and last year, beginning this journey at San Diego State. I know you coached previously with Sean when he was at the University of Colorado, but what have these last 2 years been like for you here at San Diego? Are you looking for some water, by the way? You can use some water. Here, grab some water. Grab some water. Listen,
it's okay.
This happens with us.
Yeah, it does.
Okay? This happens.
When you got to talk for a living and you can't speak, that's a problem.
You're just choked up to talk about this.
Yeah, you're so happy.
So what's it been like? Second year now on the Mesa at San Diego State, so much time at Colorado. What's the transition been like for you?
It's been an easy transition. I never thought I would leave, Colorado, being there 20 plus years. But my connection with Coach Lewis in the short period of time that he was at Colorado, it was an easy transition. When he asked me to join him, I was excited. I was ready to go. Before he even asked me, my bags were packed.
Really? There you go. I mean, you can't beat San Diego. I mean,
right.
Coming here, this stadium, this, weather, everything about it in San Diego is great. Looking to you right now as the running backs coach of this team, how is the depth of this running back room, and what can you tell fans about that room in general?
It's going to be exciting. Lucky Sutton is the number one. He's a big bruiser.
Mm-hmm.
He can run. He's really physical. He's really dynamic. He's really, really smart. And then Byron Cardwell is, even Lucky. They feed off each other. Byron is really, really smart as well. He's smooth. He catches the ball well. He's not a guy that's going to run through like Lucky. He has a little bit of move, and he'll try to, create a soft shoulder and things like that. And then, excuse my voice.
No worries.
And then Kristen Washington.
Mm-hmm.
Kristen Washington has crazy wiggle. He can do a lot of things. We can line him up as a wide receiver and put him in the slot, and he can catch the ball. He can run. All three of those guys are really, really special. And all three of them, they'll see the field. San Diego is going to be really fired up about those three.
What I think is so unique, and Darian Hagan is with us, the San Diego State's running backs coach, is that, and you could speak more to this, recruiting San Diego County. I mean, the three you just mentioned are San Diegans. They played high school football in the county.
Right.
They're now all going to be on field for San Diego State here in 2025. That's got to be so rewarding for them. But for this program and for the coaching staff to be able to recruit this county and know the level of talent that is here, what's that like? Because you were at Colorado, it's not like there's this ridiculous depth of FBS talent in the state.
Right.
In San Diego County, you could field an entire team and probably win a national championship.
Right. Absolutely. Colorado, you had to go, all over the country.
Texas,
Texas was a hotbed for them.
Right.
Florida as well.
Right.
California as well. But here, you can recruit the area, in San Diego, and like you said, win the national championship. It's capable guys that are really, really special athletes, good kids. And then, and 2 hours down the road, you can go down to L.A.,
right,
where everyone in the country goes and try to recruit kids. The thing about going down to L.A. is you got to convince those kids that San Diego is a place for them, and they can stay home and still, achieve all their goals and have a great collegiate experience as well. So we try to. It's a hard juggle, but it's a juggle it's rewarding, because at the end of the day, a lot of the guys they choose to leave, but they bounce back, and that's what happened with Christian and Byron.
Mm-hmm. What have you seen from Jaden in particular this camp? Obviously, you know a few things about being a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
So for him to come from Michigan here, win the starting job, what does that say about him, and then the skill set that you've seen from him so far in camp?
I call him Superman because he is really, really dynamic. He has a rifle of an arm. He has really, really fast legs. He kind of reminds you of a guy like a young version of Randall Cunningham. Randall Cunningham can move around the pocket. He can throw that thing on a run. Same thing with Jaden. He can move around the pocket. He's elusive in the pocket. And then he gets to that second level. Forget it, because you're not going to catch him. He's a burner, but he's super dynamic. He's everything that we need in our offense to make us jail.
What about Bert Emanuel Jr., who also, of course, joins the program, has a bright future as a quarterback, has been a terrific athlete already in his college career, Central Michigan. We saw him, obviously, a year ago when San Diego State was there. Obviously, his father played in the NFL for a long time as well, Bert Emanuel. What have you seen from Bert throughout this camp, his first year here at San Diego State?
I look at both of them. I don't see a drop-off. It's sort of like pick your poison. Both of those guys, they're capable of, doing great things. We got some really not dynamic, but really big athletic offensive linemen that are able to, open up lanes for the quarterbacks and, when throwing, also for the running backs. But those two guys are special athletic quarterbacks that everyone in the country wants to have. Even the NFL was they changed their game because of the collegiate game and exposing, runners that are super dynamic and throwing the ball and being able to run.
You mentioned the beefed up offensive line. That was a big area of need in the offseason here for you guys. I mean, you can't have a good running game if you don't have a good offensive line. Right. And we saw what happened last year. The injuries played a factor in it. Guys, playing out of position and whatnot. How the offensive line looked this camp so far, and how have you guys gelled together with the running game in particular?
Well, the offensive line has looked really good. It's a really big offensive line, in stature and in size, so, the running backs, Lucky and Byron being bigger guys, and then Christian being Christian's 5'11", so he's not little, but Christian can hide behind those guys. And then the next thing you know, he's in the clear. Same thing with Lucky and those guys. They're telling them to drop their pass down and just be patient in the run game. And good things going to happen because our offensive line is getting big push.
You told us a year ago, we're with Darian Hagan, San Diego State's running backs coach. You said when you got the job, one of the biggest adjustments was wearing red. Because you played Colorado.
We're on black.
You played the Big Eight, but Nebraska.
Right.
I mean, the Colorado-Nebraska thing, for those that, you're going back basically now a generation.
Right.
People now don't know Colorado-Nebraska like they knew Colorado-Nebraska 35 years ago. Is that still at all an oddity to you, putting on red and black when you go to work?
It definitely is. When I have to put on red, I start cringing. It's something that was embedded in me. Bill McCartney, our head coach at Colorado, he had a disdain for red. We had our calendar in our locker room was every team we played. Our schedule, I should say, every team we played, and then it always had red letter game. That was against Nebraska.
That's awesome.
So we knew when that game came, it was time to really, to step it up. Also, I had a coach, Mike Berry, who was our offensive line coach. Courtesy cars and stuff were big back then. He had got a courtesy car. It's a red truck, and he had parked it in the parking lot. And we started our meeting. And Coach Mack walks in, and he goes, "Who has a red truck in the parking lot?" And he's like, "Coach, that's mine." He goes, "Get it out of here!"
Oh my
wow!
He made him take it back to the dealership and get rid of it. And then I remember when I first stepped foot on campus, and our meeting, I stepped in with a Nebraska hat on.
Oh my gosh!
That's how stupid I was.
How did that end?
It didn't end well.
Oh,
he gave me the business, kicked me out the
man.
first meeting. but it taught me a lesson of what not to do. You know, you had to be smart. You know, but I didn't really understand the rivalry at the time.
Right.
It was spoke about, but I didn't live it. You know, so I didn't really know about it. So when I stepped foot in there, I was just like, okay, I was got, you know, they're in the same conference. It can't be that much disdain for it. And then if I found out real quick.
It seems like it.
One of those great rivalries that, again, in this world of conference realignment, a lot of people aren't fully aware of. And again, not that it was Michigan, Ohio State, and Ashley, everyone's known about for forever. Colorado, Nebraska has had its heyday as well. And listen, if the worst part of being in San Diego is wearing red, then you're in the right spot.
Well, the good thing is,
that's the only thing. That's the only thing.
Yeah,
but I wear it.
And I see, very minimal red today. Very minimal red.
Black shirt.
Black shirt, black shorts, just a little red on the hat, but we're good. We're good.
They gave me some new red Nike Zoom shoes. Everyone on the staff is warm, during camp. I haven't put them on yet.
Have you had this conversation with Sean? Like he's fully aware of it.
Oh yeah.
Real quick before
Here's
you go,
some more red for you. You're like, what are we doing?
Real quick before you go, what was it about Sean? Because you had that relationship with him in Colorado, right? I mean, he's the OC. What is it about your relationship with Sean that has stuck out over these last few years?
He is just a natural leader. His leadership skills of men it ranks up there with Bill McCartney. I've seen how Coach McCartney interacted with his staff and how he interacted with players, and it's eerie similar. Coach Lewis is all about the players, and he lets us know that. And it's all about the coaches. He's a guy that, I come in to work. I don't look over my shoulder. I don't worry about, some interference.
Sure.
He lets me do my job. He lets everybody do their job. One of his biggest things is, do your job. Don't look over your shoulders, because if you weren't the right person, you wouldn't be in this room. And then him and our connection at Colorado started because they had a running back coach, but the running back coach, he was one of Deion's guys, so he, on a little pedestal a little bit. And I was a guy that was in there and helping, and I was grinding with him. And I think that, me grinding with him and showing him that, that showed him that somebody he can trust, and somebody that, if he had a head coaching opportunity down the road, he would take me.
Great insight and perspective, Darian Hagan. We're looking forward to this upcoming year. You got a great stable back there of San Diegans in the running backs room, and we appreciate you taking time for us. Best of luck.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys.
Darian Hagan.
Right.
We will react on the other side. We're at Fan Fest, which will get underway at 7:05. We're on the air until 7 p.m. We're getting you ready for tomorrow up in L.A. as well. Padres and Dodgers. This is John and Jim. Stay with us.
is CSU Fan Fest, live from Snapdragon Stadium. As we count down to the Aztecs opener in 2 weeks versus Stony Brook.
Throw goes for the end zone, and it is caught for a touchdown. Jude Wolf.
We're giving you everything you need, plus a look ahead to tonight's open practice with John and Jim.
All right, we're here until 7 p.m. Special version of John and Jim getting you ready for Fan Fest. Great to connect with Sean Lewis, the Aztecs running backs coach Darian Hagan as well. So one eye on tonight, Fan Fest, where the Aztecs will take the field just 2 weeks out from their opener against Stony Brook. Another eye on what's going on up the road, obviously in Los Angeles, where the Padres have the day off. They learned today Michael King has been placed on the IL with knee inflammation. So as Jim said earlier, it's an exciting time. I mean, there's a lot going on, obviously, locally in San Diego. We've said this a lot over the years with the Padres. But everything, it was going too well. You know, I'll give you an example. Juan Soto's acquired at the trade deadline. We learned Tatis is out for the year.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Last year, they're in the postseason. They dominated Atlanta. In the wild card series, they lose Joe Musgrove. In the series against the Dodgers. They're up 2-1. They don't score for the final 24 innings. They're 14-3 right now in their last 17 games. They're in first place in the NL West. Oh, by the way, Michael King is on the IL. So this is how sports work. It certainly how sports work in San Diego. Now the question becomes can they overcome it? And hopefully they will. I think in the regular season, they've got the ability to do it. We'll see about beyond that.
Well, overcoming it, I feel like that'd be the question to ask if Michael King were healthy all season long, right? Can they overcome the loss of a player that they've not had for 2.5 months and has only pitched 2 innings since May 18th?
Yeah, it depends on what your goals are.
No, I get that. And I think regular season, I think you got to separate that. If you're talking about can they win the NL West without Michael King, I think the answer is yes.
Yeah.
Can they win a World Series without Michael King? Yes, but it'll be tougher.
Mm-hmm.
So can they overcome the loss of Michael King? Yeah, because they've done it for the last 17 games. And they've done it for the last 2 months, and not having Michael King on this roster and this rotation, it's nothing new. It was great to see him back on the mound last Saturday, but he only gave you 2 innings, and he was very rusty.
Mm-hmm.
If he went out and pitched 8 shutout innings and he struck out 11 guys, and you're like, oh my gosh, and then he goes back on the IL today, you're like, oh, that's a bummer. Don't get me wrong, this is still a bummer for sure. But it's not the loss that I think we might be, projecting it to be in the short term. Long term, different story. But in the short term, they're still a good team. All the moves that AJ Preller has made have paid off in a huge way. This bullpen is nails, lights out. Just the spot in the rotation that Michael King came back and he occupied is now going to be occupied by Randy Vasquez, and we'll see what he does tomorrow night, and hopefully he gives you 4 quality innings and they go to the bullpen with a lead.
Yeah, I think my question would be, does this start any type of snowballing effect in terms of asking people to do more? And you're right, they haven't had him for 3 months, and by and large, they overcame it. I'm not as concerned about the regular season anymore, though. It was never really a regular season conversation for me about the Padres anymore. Yes, you want to win the division, and that's far from a guarantee. But the conversation for me is not about whether or not they make a postseason or what they do over the final 40 games of the regular season. Honestly, to some extent, it's inconsequential because we've had this conversation. Hey, would you rather be a 4 seed and healthy or a 2 seed and not? So we're not saying you have to win the division to win the World Series. It makes it easier, but we're not saying you have to. But what we are saying is, how much more exposed are you if you lose a key core of your rotation in the postseason? And I don't know the answer. A, because I don't know if he's out in the postseason. I hope he's back, and he very well could be. And B, what does it look like if you had 3 really reliable starters trying to win a World Series as opposed to 4? What is the impact? I just saw a Dodger team win a World Series with 2 reliable starters.
Exactly.
But that's unconventional.
It is.
And they had a historically good offense.
True.
And they won with a bullpen game in San Diego with their backs against the wall, which, again, was a credit to them. So I'm just wondering, what does it take once you get to October? Because I'm not as worried about August and September, truthfully. That part is the formality.
Oh,
they have a 98.8% chance of Fangraphs of making the postseason. So I'm putting them in the postseason. I'm not as concerned about the seed. I'm concerned about how do they navigate October and what does Michael King mean for October, not September.
Yeah, I'm concerned about the health of this team, making sure that no other key pieces go down to injury. But I'm still, looking at the here and now, and winning the division is definitely goal number one. It's got to be like. You come all this way, and then what if you don't win the division? That's going to be kind of a bummer. It just will be. I mentioned back in 2022 when the Mets won 100 games and they went in as a wild card and they never celebrated that year. Remember that?
Yeah,
they never celebrated. I'm not projecting that on the Padres, but what I am projecting a little bit on the Padres is maybe some disappointment if you don't win the division, especially if this thing remains close until the final week of September.
Yes. Okay. I agree, but yes and no. Let me give you this side of it.
Okay.
Different sport. Ohio State lost to Michigan.
And they won the national title.
The week before they won 4 consecutive games.
But yes, I get it. Totally.
And it's different. I know it's different.
Yeah. There's got to be some Ohio State fans that are still like
I mean, I know Ohio State fans. And yes, probably, but at the end of the day, they won the national championship. And you would agree in this analogy, who cares if you finish in second place if you win the World Series?
Right. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. But yes, I mean, listen, would it be a disappointment if they didn't win the division? Like you said, in the now, yes. But if you told me a month later they were in the World Series or won it, water under bridges, right?
Oh, 100%.
Would never think about it ever again if they didn't win the division but won the World Series.
Never.
All right, more on that on the other side. We got a whole nother hour for you. We're here until 7 p.m.
What? This is uncharted territory.
We're talking Padres. We're talking Aztecs. Bob Mooseberger, who's in San Diego State's athletic department, was a former AD in the MAC. He was at Bowling Green. Sean Lewis was at Kent State. He's going to swing by at 6:15. FanFest from Snapdragon at 7 p.m. Don't go anywhere. The final hour of John and Jim comes your way next.
All right, this update is brought to you by Allstate. Padres have an off day today. They start a 3-game series tomorrow in L.A. Once first pitch happens, Padres will be in first place. Actually, they're already in first place in the National League West. Clayton Kershaw will be on the mound for the Dodgers. Michael King was supposed to be the starter tomorrow for the Padres, but earlier this afternoon, he was placed on the 15-day IL with left knee inflammation. Randy Vasquez has been recalled to the active roster. Some people just know you could save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Those people are probably saving a carload of cash right now. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Can you feel it? The gridiron looms. In 2 weeks, the Scarlet and Black open up the season versus Stony Brook. But today, we're live at Snapdragon Stadium getting ready for SDSU Fan Fest. And the first look at what Sean Lewis and the Aztecs are preparing.
Look for Napier. He comes down with it for a touchdown in the near side.
Now we go to the voice of the Aztecs, John Schaefer and Jim Russell.
All right, San Diego, Southern California, what's going on? This is the final hour of John and Jim, and you might be saying to yourself, well, hold on, it's 6 p.m. Shouldn't you be done with your show? No, not today.
Extra hour.
Extra.
Not really extra hour because it's the same length.
It feels like it's like a rain delay. And like you think the game's going to end at 10 p.m., but all of a sudden you're still working at 11 p.m. Or you're still watching the Padres late. That's what it feels like to me. So yeah, 4-hour show, but we're going until 7. Why? Because we're at Snapdragon Stadium. They're having Fan Fest tonight, a scrimmage. Your first look at the 2025 Aztecs. We just caught up with Sean Lewis. For example, last hour, we're going to see the Aztec football team coming up in about 1 hour here at Snapdragon Stadium. So we're here until 7. If you missed Jaden Denigal with us yesterday, the Aztecs' new starting quarterback, you'll hear a conversation with him coming up at 6:30. We're also going to catch up with Bob Moosberger from San Diego State's athletic department at about 6:15. So football, Jim, it's a couple of weeks away, whether you're a college fan or an NFL fan or both. You look up, I mean, we've spent so much time with the Padres, rightfully so, but we're just a couple of weeks away from football, no matter you're a fan of college or pro.
Yeah, what was it? Not next Thursday, but 2 Thursdays from now, right? Home opener here, Snapdragon Stadium.
2 weeks from tonight.
2 weeks from tonight. So, yeah, I can't wait. Football is finally back. You get the notifications like, all right, guys, fantasy football starting up. Our fantasy football draft's in a couple weeks. You got college football starting up. Then you got the NFL. I mean, the NFL is already underway in training camps, but a couple Thursdays from now as well, the opener of the season, Philadelphia against Dallas in Philly. So that's going to be a fun game. Aaron's excited about that. So, yeah, I can't wait. But, you know, it's hard what we do, right, to get fully invested in it when we're so heavily invested in the Padres and their success and their chances to win a World Series. Yes, once their season is over, and hopefully it's ending with us on Market Street celebrating a World Series. But once the baseball season's officially over for the Padres, then all focus goes to football for me.
That's what I honestly, here's the thing that I love right now about San Diego sports. And listen, I know the city has changed drastically in the last decade, but this is like one of the few markets in the country when it comes to pro sports where the attention remains on baseball into the fall. Give me the other market. Give me the other market that has baseball but doesn't have football. There are examples, but I'm trying to think right now. Like when you think about New York City, it's a great baseball city, but they got 2 NFL teams. You think about Philadelphia, great baseball city. They just won the Super Bowl, right? Think about Milwaukee. They're on this historic run. You think the Padres have been good? Look at the Brewers. They have the Green Bay Packers in the state of Wisconsin. So it's a little bit of a rarity. I mean, think about it. Like the Royals could be good. Well, they have the Kansas City Chiefs and so on and so forth. So it's almost an exception. Like it's such a rarity to have a Major League Baseball team that doesn't lose focus because its fans all of a sudden start looking towards its NFL team. Now, again, did anyone want the NFL to live? No. But it's been 10 years. So now 9 or 10 years later, San Diego has become almost like a unicorn market where the attention remains on the baseball team.
I know.
Whether they're good or bad or indifferent, the attention remains on the baseball team. And thank the Lord, the attention remains on the baseball team right now because they're playing some of the best baseball in Major League Baseball, 14-3 in their last 17 games.
Yeah, and then tomorrow night, I cannot freaking wait because last time Padres-Dodgers met, I mean, that was like cinema. You know, right?
Yep.
You hear that a lot as kids say, right? It was
Cinema.
It was cinema. That series had everything in it, everything you wanted, other than the fact that the Padres, lost those series against the Dodgers. But still, you had drama, you had good baseball being played, and the rivalry between these two teams, and it continues tomorrow night. One thing we discussed last night on the wrap-up show, John, is with the way the Dodgers are struggling, like how bad they have played for damn near a month and a half.
I mean, to put in perspective, since July 3rd, same record as the Rockies.
Yeah.
12-22.
Yeah. So for about a month and a half almost, they have played really bad baseball
Really
for
bad.
their standards.
For any standards, 12-22.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, 12-22.
Who
That's
wants
awful.
to play that kind of baseball?
No, nobody does.
Yeah.
Except for Dick Monfort, maybe.
Exactly.
But the one thing that we discussed, which I think is a something that we have to watch this weekend, is shenanigans on the Dodgers side, because Dave Roberts, because he has a history of doing this.
Mm-hmm.
He is probably itching to get his team fired up and get them back on track and wake them up. And what better way to do that than starting some with your rival this weekend at Dodger Stadium?
By the way, and you're 100% right, and I expect it. And honestly, if I was in his shoes, I would do the same thing. Why? It worked last time. And by the way, what I said last year, and I stick by, is if the Padres would have pulled the same shenanigans and end up benefiting them, I would have been completely cool with, because you end up, getting to winning a World Series or winning that series. So
yeah, I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
I'm not. No, I know you're not. I know you're not. But what I'm saying is, what I'm going to say to counter the point I said it last night is, I'm expecting it. But what I want to see from the Padres is don't take the bait.
Mm-hmm.
So by not taking the bait, what does that mean? It means if you get hit, there's no need for it to elevate to benches clearing or for any type of, whatever,
barking back and forth.
Or, whatever. There's no need for it. You've outplayed them. You've made up 10 games in the standings in the last month. You don't need to get into that. All you need to do is outplay them for a series or for the next 2 series over the next 10 days. You just don't need to get involved in the extracurriculars.
No, you don't. And that's the thing that you're kind of just waiting for if you're on the Padres side, is like, are they going to do something? Because they're playing awful. They need to wake up.
Yep.
Dave Roberts even said last night they did not expect to be here. They're all down on themselves. So what better way to have a pick-me-up and bringing the team together and rallying the troops is, hey, who are we playing this weekend? Oh, the Padres?
Let's start something.
Perfect timing. We're not playing the Rockies. We're not playing the Nationals, teams that we don't care about. We're playing the Padres, and it's going to be playoff atmosphere like at Dodger Stadium. We need to figure out how to get out of this rut. What better way to start something? And I would not be surprised at all if you see something early in that game tomorrow from the Dodgers side. Now, Kershaw's on the mound, so maybe you don't.
True.
And Snell's on the mound on Saturday. Glasnow's on Thursday.
Oh, no, Sunday.
Or sorry, Sunday. My bad. But still, I don't know, man. Some barking back and forth, some chirping, something from the Dodgers side to, try to get them going against the Padres here.
The other concern I would have there is just that they need the Padres to wake up. As in, just in general, they need to play a team like the Padres in general to wake up, right? Their rival in the NL West. And we'll see. I'm hoping that's not the case. I'm just hoping they are not playing well, and it's the right time for the Padres to be playing the Dodgers. We'll take a timeout. Bob Moosberger is going to join us on the other side in San Diego State's athletic department, former AD, was at Bowling Green when Sean Lewis was at Kent State. So we're going to get the perspective from Bob on the other side. We're getting ready for Fan Fest here tonight, coming up at 7 p.m. We're here until 7. We'll hear from Jaden Denigal at 6:30. San Diego State starting quarterback as well. Don't go anywhere. John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app.
you all set for SDSU Fan Fest and tonight's open practice at Snapdragon Stadium.
V2, flood right close. Press 34 duo, exploit on.
We head back to John and Jim.
All right, FanFest coming up, 7 p.m., Snapdragon Stadium, free event. You can get out here. There are tickets at goaztecs.com. So if you're driving around right now, you can get out to Snapdragon Stadium, a scrimmage tonight, FanFest as well. John and Jim with Bob Moosberger, Deputy AD, Revenue Generation, San Diego State. Bob, great to see you, man. Thanks for hopping on.
Great to see you guys. Appreciate you having me on. And you don't even have to go to goaztecs.com. Just come down to the
get
stadium.
down here. I was wondering that.
Go to the ticket office. They'll take care of you. You don't need to get online. And
okay.
Now.
It's been the talking point that's stuck in his head all day long.
Well, I just know that initially in the days leading up, you like to point people to the website. But okay, here's the deal. We're an hour out. If you're driving around and you're near Mission Valley and you want to get a sneak peek, or you're an Aztec alumni, or you just want to see it, just get out here tonight. The scrimmage, you're going to see the quarterback, Jaden Danigal. I mean, it's crazy, Bob. We're 2 weeks away from the opener. We talk about the length of the offseason. It feels so long, and now here we are 2 weeks away. What can you tell us about the upcoming season, 2 weeks from now against Stony Brook, and the home game's coming up at Snapdragon Stadium in 2025?
Yeah, I'm excited. It's year 2 of Sean Lewis, and obviously it's been a little bit of a rebuild, but I've been out to practices. You know, everybody asks me, do I go to practice every day? And I'm like, no, I have work to do. They do practice from 9:30 to 11:30 during the week, but I've been to a few during the week and a few on Saturday. I'm impressed by the effort that they've put out there, the guys that they have, the talent, the size, the quickness of these guys. So I'm really excited to see them in action, see Jaden Denigal, obviously a much talked about transition at quarterback, and excited to see what that young man does. I had Michigan fans that I know telling me that we got a real one, and we're excited that we got him. And so I'm excited to see what he's got going on for him. Stony Brook, 2 weeks away, $23 tickets to get you into the door of that game. So we hope, we move the game from a Saturday to a Thursday night. Everybody can come out Thursday night before they head out wherever they're going on Labor Day weekend. Right. So it should be an exciting time for this season for the Aztec football team, and we look forward to it.
From a fan's perspective tonight, what can they expect during this scrimmage for a fan experience?
Yeah, I obviously, as you get into the dog days of camp, and Sean says the full scrimmage, we'll see what they do out there. Obviously, everybody's watching nowadays. Everybody's scouting every day, all the time. So I hope we'll see him open it up and see the offense perform. You're going to see a defense that is really talented. And, we had 6 returners that were all conference players. And our general manager, Caleb Davis, created this stat, and I believe it to be true because he told me. And we had 6 all-conference players coming back, and we're one of like 10 teams in the country that have that many. And the other teams were all in the CFP, or they were a 10-win team. So we have talent on the defensive side. We're excited about that defensive side. That tradition carries on. But on the offensive side, I'm excited for Lucky Sutton. This offensive line, I'm really impressed with them. Obviously, last year, offensive line struggled at times, and we're excited for how big they are, the depth that they have. Lucky Sutton running the ball, and our wide receivers, Napier. He's been really good. And big wide receiver, what's his name? I forget.
We got McClure, Jerry McClure.
Yeah, Jeremy's solid, and the Miles Denton.
Right, Miles Denton.
Yeah, he brings some speed to the outside as well. So exciting all around.
So Bob Moosberger is with us right now, San Diego State's Deputy AD for Revenue Generation. So what sticks out to me, because I go back to a year ago during the hiring process, and you're in there, and J.D. Wicker, and you were the AD at Bowling Green, which was, correct me if I'm wrong, you're in the same league as Kent State at the time, at the MAC, in the MAC.
You don't know anything about MAC?
Well, there's so much realignment, but I know you are.
Come on, Sean.
I know you
Maction.
are.
Yes,
but
the MAC.
But obviously, Sean Lewis is emerging at this period of time, and some of the offensive numbers are so gaudy. There, at one year, he led FBS in total yardage, right?
Yeah.
At Kent State. But I know specifically what he did against Bowling Green as well. So that probably stuck in your mind throughout the hiring process a couple of years ago, right?
Definitely. And, when we talked about all the different names out there and Sean's name came up, quite frankly, I didn't really like Sean Lewis a whole lot. He averaged 42 points against the Falcons. I think we were 0-5 against them, something like that. And, his teams were wide open offensives, but ran the ball. They had offensive line that was nasty and physical. and they were a fun team to watch. And Kent State's impossible to win at. I mean, that's a tough football job in our league. And, you know, the former AD used to tell me about they wanted to get $4.5 million during their non-conference play from game guarantees. And those are, you know, 3 games at 1.5 each. And that's against Texas A&M, Auburn, Georgia.
Jeez,
and that doesn't set your teams up for success whatsoever. And, you know, Sean's teams were very talented. You know, I think they were 2-10 the year before him. And then they turn it around in year 2, went 7-6. And since he's been gone from Kent State, I think they've won 1 game.
They haven't won an FBS game since he left 2 years ago.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they have not
crazy.
beaten an FBS team since he left.
Yeah. So, you know, his presence, again, you know, we talked to our seniors, we talked to the leadership council of our football team, what they were looking for in a head football coach. And Sean checked all those boxes. And, you know, he's excited. He's relatable to the players. And, you know, we're excited for year 2. Obviously, we had some hiccups last year. We got to clean up those things and keep improving.
Yeah. Back to, you know, just continue with Sean Lewis, you know, talking about the things that he has done and shown to you know, give the confidence to the, you know, the program and everybody here that you can turn this thing around. Give me one specific thing about Sean that makes you as confident as you sound that he is going to turn this program around and get it back to the level that it was before he was here.
One thing?
If you got multiple, then give me multiple. Yeah.
You know, I like the tireless work ethic that they have. You know, they work really hard, and, you know, they again, in this game, being relatable to the kids, and it's obviously a different era that we're in. And, you know, I had lunch with donors who, you know, don't love this era of college athletics right now. And we're trying to explain to them, you know, all the things that are happening in NIL money for our football player last year, bringing his single parent mother to every home game and to every away game. That's what we're spending NIL dollars on. And it's not Lamborghinis that you may see at some other school or anything like that. So again, to attack this new era of college athletics, I think Sean has the, you know, aptitude, the relatability to young men. And I think, again, through work ethic, the recruiting, his staff works really hard at recruiting. That, again, depending on who you read, we got the top ranked recruiting class in high school ranks. So again, I think they're doing all those things right. Obviously, at the end of the day, you got to put together on the field. And I believe, you know, the coaches, the efforts that's been there through the summer, through spring practice, you're going to see a cleaned up football team this year. And again, they like to play fast, so there's going to be mistakes. And I actually was talking to a basketball donor this morning, and I related, you know, our freshman quarterback a little bit last year to, remember when Richie Williams was our point guard? And Richie was a freshman point guard. How many freshman quarterbacks have you had? I think that was the second time in our FBS history.
Yeah.
And there were times when Richie Williams was awesome. And there were times when Coach Fisher was pulling his hair out.
Yeah.
And so those are things, that growing pains that come with this job and this rebuild. And you know, so I'm excited. You know, Jaden Denigal, again, another recruit. You know, I had, you know, friends back in the Midwest, like I said, those Michigan fans that would text me and say, oh my gosh, he should be starting for Michigan.
Yeah.
If Harbaugh was still there. That's what they were saying.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, Moose, before you go, looking at just what's to come here this fall at Snapdragon Stadium. I mean, this is a spectacular facility, obviously, for San Diego State. Boise State, obviously, will be here. Cal will be here. You look at this home schedule. What do you want Aztec fans to know? Again, like you said, $23 tickets for the opener against Stony Brook. But you got pricing options and ticketing plans for any and all Aztec fans, obviously, this fall.
We do. We have, you know, a ticket price for every budget.
Yeah.
I've told fans that, you know, season tickets, $200 for a season ticket. Again, when we try to compete for championships, you know, we're looking at Boise State. Their cheapest ticket is $199 on a season ticket basis. So we need this community to rally around this team. And again, it didn't happen overnight with Coach Fisher. I know Coach Fisher talked to the team earlier this year. You know, he won 5 games his first year, and it was a progress or process to getting to where this basketball program is now. You know, the chicken or the egg. We need the fans here cheering on our team. And, you know, again, it's about winning, sure, but it's also about the experience here at Snapdragon Stadium, which is, I was at Qualcomm Stadium. I know that experience, and it wasn't beautiful. Snapdragon is a beautiful facility, great food, great drinks, a lot of good fun that you can have here. And we got to get the product on the field, and we will with the help of our fans and our community.
Yeah, it's a great point on facilities. I mean, you think back to Coach Fisher, the beginning of Viejas Arena. San Diego State 5 wins that year, winless in the Mountain West. And obviously, we've seen what San Diego State basketball has become. Viejas has played its role. Snapdragon Stadium will play its role, of course, for San Diego State football as well. Moose, appreciate you doing it, man. We're looking forward to the scrimmage tonight. Bob Mooseberger, Deputy AD, Revenue Generation, San Diego State, back in the Mesa. Moose, great to see you, man. Thanks for doing it.
Great, guys. Thank you very much. Appreciate
Thank you.
it.
All right, get on out here. Like you said, you don't need to go to GoAztecs.com.
Just
If you're
come.
driving around.
Just bring it on down.
Just come on down to Snapdragon Stadium. We're going to hear from Jaden Denigal, San Diego State's starting quarterback. On the other side is John and Jim.
All right, this update's brought to you by Rapid Radios. Padres have an off day today. They have a 1-game lead over the LA Dodgers, sitting atop of the NL West. Start a 3-game series with the Dodgers tomorrow night at Dodger Stadium. Clayton Kershaw will be on the mound for the Dodgers. Michael King was scheduled to pitch tomorrow night for the Padres, but earlier today he was placed on the 15-day IL with left knee inflammation. Randy Vasquez has been recalled to the active roster. Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscriptions ever. A great alternative to a mobile phone for your kids for limited time. Go to rapidradios.com now for 60% off and free UPS shipping. Add code radio and get an extra 5% off.
The Scarlet and Black on full display tonight at SDSU Fan Fest. We're live at Snapdragon Stadium with all the insight and analysis for the open practice at 7:05 and the opener in 2 weeks versus Stony Brook. Back to John and Jim.
All right, here until 7. Fan Fest coming up. John and Jim. We're going to hear from Jaden Denigal momentarily. Padres are what, 24 hours out? What time's the game tomorrow, Jim? 7:10? Dodger Stadium, I think tomorrow.
7:10 tomorrow, 6:10 on Saturday, and then Sunday.
What, maybe 1:10?
Gotta be an afternoon game. I'm gonna go with, here we go, 1:10 start.
All right, so 7:10, 6:10, 1:10. By the way, tomorrow we will lead you up to that thing. 4 hours of coverage. Yeah. Padres and Dodgers, around 3, I guess. I mean, the Padres did not play well in the first half of the year against the Dodgers. Make no mistake.
No.
But the teams are different, and they've headed in different directions, and hopefully that continues here in the second half of the year. It was the Padres 2-5 this year against the Dodgers. Of course, we know how last year ended. And now we're going to see a ton of Padres-Dodgers. 6 of the next 10 games for these teams are against each other coming up. We'll hear from Jaden Denigal in a minute. But, yeah, think about that. 6 of the next 10. Where, listen, I mean, yeah, maybe that one of the teams, maybe it's 3-3, these 6 games. Maybe it's 4-2, one way or the other. What if it's not? I mean, what if someone wins 5 of the 6 games? What if there's a sweep in there? There's a possibility where there's some separation that occurs, and it would happen quickly if that happens over the next 10 days.
This weekend and next weekend, I feel like the baseball world will be tuning in.
Right, exactly.
Because this is the best rivalry in sports. Or not sports, but it's the best rivalry in baseball
right now.
My bad. Not sports, but the best rivalry in baseball for sure. Not even close. And so we know the history between these two teams. We know there's no love lost between these two teams. There's bad blood. The series earlier this year and then the postseason last year kind of just added fuel to the fire. The fire is definitely it's lit for sure. It is a huge flame, and that's why these next 2 weekends, especially what's at stake, right? I mean, there's nothing bigger at stake in baseball than divisions in the regular season.
Sure.
And so when you have 2 opponents that are rivals, and there's bad blood, and there's history, recent history, postseason history, regular season history, it just makes it that much more fun to watch, and I can't wait for this weekend.
I can't. I mean, the crowds,
oh my gosh,
the games, all the history, all the recent history between these two sides on display beginning tomorrow night at Dodger Stadium. So we will lead you up tomorrow. Make sure to be with us 2 p.m. John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. And then, of course, tomorrow night for a wrap-up show as well. Now, we had Jaden Denigal, who was named yesterday officially the starting quarterback at San Diego State. We were able to catch up with him briefly. This was right before a team meeting. This was right after he was named starting quarterback, and we started the conversation by thanking him for joining us and also by asking him who was the first person he called after he got the news that he would be the starting quarterback for the Aztecs.
Hello, and thank you for having me on, but my dad was definitely the first person I called when I got the news.
And obviously becoming the starting quarterback of this team, it's a big accomplishment. Sean Lewis, the head coach here, his style of offense. When you decided to transfer here to San Diego State, what made Sean Lewis's offense so appealing to you?
Just the way the offense can be so explosive. And I like Coach Lou and his pass and his other stops, the way the offense can be ran through the quarterback and be the decision maker and have an explosive offense, not only run the ball and throw on the ball. So I thought it was a great opportunity to come back home and be able to put up some numbers back at home. So. And I love every part of my decision.
Back home in Southern California, Jaden Denigal, he will start for the Aztecs 2 weeks from tomorrow. How's your relationship with Bert Emanuel Jr.? I know you talked about this earlier today with the media, but you and Bert both come in. Football's such a small world, isn't it? You're at Michigan. He's at Central Michigan. And now you're reconnecting in Southern California at San Diego State. How did you push each other throughout this process? And what's your relationship like in the QB room with Bert?
It's good. We have a good relationship. Bert's an elite athlete, and I know I've learned so much from Bert. He's probably learned something from me. We have a good relationship. We're pushing each other each day, trying to get better and continue to make plays. Both of us making plays through this offense and pushing this offense. So we've had a great relationship ever since we came in, just competing against each other. Yeah.
How'd your time in Michigan prepare you for this moment, becoming the starting quarterback with the Aztecs and starting quarterback in college football?
Just all those reps I got from the 3 years I was there, the national championship year, learning behind J.J. McCarthy and seeing how he prepared for every game, and learning from other guys that were there at Michigan, just learning how to prepare and knowing what it's like on game day and what you're going to have to go through and being ready for your moment when it's time.
Jaden Danigal with us right now, San Diego State starting quarterback here in 2025. Again, you can see him tomorrow night, FanFest at Snapdragon Stadium. Free tickets are available at goaztecs.com. How do you describe your leadership style? What does it take to be a good leader and quarterback?
Not only vocal, but I think the biggest trait is being a tone setter. Coming out there the first play and whatever first drive and making plays. I think that's the ultimate way to be a leader, just coming out and being a tone setter for the offense, and then starting fast is the biggest thing for me.
So far, I mean, how has camp gone for you personally? Obviously, you're starting quarterback now of this team, but, taking first team reps, learning the offense, how has everything gone for you in training camp?
It's gone good, just learning the offense, getting more comfortable every day with the RPO world has been very, very comfortable. But I think throughout this whole process, it's been, I've been getting so much better through this RPO world and learning the different type of offense. I think it's been super good through this camp.
You know, when you were at Michigan, I want to say you were taking reps against maybe the statistical best defense in the country with the Wolverines. Now you're with the defense that returns basically everyone from a year ago. And of course, San Diego State has been known for its defense for the last 2 decades. What's it been going up against? What's it been like for you going up against this 4-2-5?
Yeah, we got some dogs on our defense with stars all around, and definitely all returning, so they all play together, communicate well, and they all know their roles and responsibilities. So it's been good competitive camp every day, whether we win the day, whether they win the day. But we definitely push each other. We get better every day. So,
Sean Lewis, a very high energy type of guy. You played under Jim Harbaugh, also high energy type of guy. Do you see any similarities there between the two, as far as, maybe their coaching style and, of course, the energy that they bring every single day to practice?
Yeah, they both have an attitude to them of attacking the day and being the best person they can every day. That's definitely the biggest similarity I see, but definitely different people, different coaching styles, and both very good. So, yeah.
Jaden, we'll let you get to the meeting rooms because I know you have a meeting coming up in a couple of minutes, but final one for me would be, what is it like after you leave for Michigan, but you're from Southern California? What's it been like for you and your family to get back to California these last handful of months?
Oh, it's been amazing being able to be so close to home, see my younger brother and my mom and my father. So that's been good to be about 2 hours from home. So I've been excited to be back home in California in this great weather. So
the weather's been great, that's for sure. Jaden, we're looking forward to it. It's always great, as you know. We're looking forward to seeing you and your teammates tomorrow night. FanFest, Snapdragon Stadium, free tickets at goaztecs.com. Appreciate the time. Congratulations again, and we'll see you tomorrow, right?
Yep, see you tomorrow. Thank you.
That was actually from yesterday, and we were at FanFest, which will get underway in about 20 minutes. I know Jim, if he completes his first pass, he'll be like, this is the greatest quarterback in like college or NFL history. And if he doesn't, he'll be like, what is the deal? Basically, right?
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, that's basically what's happening.
I'm basing everything off of his first pass
in a scrimmage 2 weeks before the start of the year.
And at FanFest.
It's like the NFL stuff we always see, like you say, like, oh, did you see Caleb at practice? Yeah. Oh, he threw 2 picks right in a row, back to back.
Well, it's like I talked about this a couple weeks ago. Training camp in the NFL, to me, to follow it the way that some people follow it is ridiculous. ridiculous.
Like the play-by-play of practices.
The today Brock Purdy went 9 for 11 with 2 picks and a touchdown, and Mac Jones went 10 for 12 with 2 touchdowns and a pick.
Right.
Who effing cares, dude?
Yeah.
Like, it's not a quarterback competition.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're not looking at a rookie for the first time. You can maybe look a little into those things, right? But all in all, I mean, dude, it's the dumbest thing ever when you look at stats in training camp and whatnot. Like, what does a guy do in the game? And what does he put up in actual game action, right? But with all that being said, yeah, if Jaden Denigal goes 5 for 5 tonight in his opening drive for a touchdown, he's the greatest quarterback in the history of San Diego State football history. And this team, I'm going to say undefeated.
It's like, with all that being said, we still watch the Caleb Williams video where he can't hit the net.
I know.
From training camp, and everyone's like, this guy's washed. But it's so true. It's like what you do in the NFL, for example, on Sundays, in college on Saturdays, like, that's where it matters.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about anything else. And you have such a limited chance in football. It's not baseball where you get the 600 plate appearances. You got a bad week.
Yeah.
Man, you can have a bad week and have an amazing year. And a quarterback, like, you got to have a level of consistency. And in college, you're only playing 12 times.
And you don't see this during the regular season. Well, mostly because, media is not allowed to watch practice. They have to, leave after the first 15 or 20 minutes after practice. You don't see in practice day on a Wednesday in week 13, man, Josh Allen didn't look good.
Nobody would say that. Yeah. The only thing they care about is they're like, oh, Josh Allen was he was limited in practice. He was held out because of a knee.
It's just like the appetite for football creates this overreaction in the preseason and in training camp because everybody just wants football back so bad, right? So what is there to talk about? Training camp.
Yeah, it's like, oh man, he really didn't look good in those reads to the receiver. Like, relax. It's August.
Like something, nothing, or everything, right?
100%.
Those segments all in training camp. It's like, okay.
And that's what we're going to do tonight as San Diego State will play under the lights.
With all that being said, tonight I'm judging the hell out of this team.
We're going to see Jaden Denigal, San Diego State starting quarterback. We'll see Bert Emanuel Jr. as well under center at points tonight. Snapdragon Stadium, you can get here. Just walk on in. Scrimmage will get underway in 20 minutes at 7:05. We'll come back and wrap things up. Of course, we're getting you ready for tomorrow as well. Dodger Stadium for the Padres and the Dodgers to kick off a 3-game series with first place truly on the line. 1 game separates the Padres and the Dodgers. We're here until 7. This is John and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app.
Scarlet and Black on full display tonight at SDSU Fan Fest. We're live at Snapdragon Stadium with all the insight and analysis for the open practice at 7:05 and the opener in 2 weeks versus Stony Brook. Back to John and Jim.
All right, final time here from Snapdragon Stadium. Looking forward to tonight, a scrimmage for the Aztecs. Our first look at this 2025 team under Sean Lewis, Jaden Denigal, the quarterback. And again, 2 weeks from tonight, you can hear the action right here on San Diego Sports 760, 7:05 for the Aztecs in their opener 2 weeks from tonight at Snapdragon Stadium. Kind of a wild show. We learned of Michael King.
A little bit of a wild show.
And the injury. We actually had some technical difficulties at the onset, and then we learned about Michael King. And we've had plenty of guests here today as well. And I'm already looking forward to tomorrow, to be honest with you. I really am. The ramp up to a Dodger-Padres series with this much on the line and with the Padres in first place this late in the year for the first time in 15 years. I just think it's going to be a terrific weekend. I mean, we watch all these games. We have for years on end. But this weekend, I think, is a little more special for baseball fans and for Padres fans, and I cannot wait for this thing to get underway tomorrow night.
So looking at the National League right now, John, Phillies, they lost today.
Okay.
So now they have the same record as the Padres at 69-52.
So the Padres are tied for the 2 seed in the National League with 40 games to go.
I think Philly holds the tiebreaker head-to-head, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. I don't remember.
Actually, I don't know because the Padres took 2 or 3 from Philly here, and then Phillies took 2 or 3 from the Padres in Philly.
Well, then they're going to go to Vetter Cup.
No, it's intra-division standings, right?
Yeah, maybe.
It's something. Well, I'll tell you this. If the season ends today, the Phillies are the 2 seed.
Is that right?
Yeah, because they hold the tiebreaker.
Okay.
But it's worth noting that they have the same record now.
Mm-hmm.
So the Padres have the second best record in the National League. What?
With a million games to play. I mean, they could easily secure it or they could cough it up. But yeah, think about that. They've gotten already the second best record, basically by going 14-3 here.
So
they have the second best.
They have a better record than the Cubs, who lost today. They have a better record than the Dodgers, obviously. The Mets are in complete free fall. They're 1-9 in their last 10 games. They're 2-13 in their last 15, dating back to when they got swept here at Petco Park.
The Dodgers are 12-22 in their last 34.
Cincy actually is making a push here. They're only a half game back of the Mets now for the 6th seed. Think about that. We were like legitimately talking about the Reds 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Now the Reds are so far out of the picture for Padres fans and the Padres. I'm not even thinking about the Reds anymore.
How far are the 2 teams separated right now? The Reds and the Padres, 16.
6 games.
That's crazy.
Well, no, they're 6 back in the loss column.
Yeah. So roughly 6 games.
Cincy has 58 losses. Padres have 52 losses.
Yeah. Big difference.
6 back in the loss column.
Yep.
And we're like, watch out for Cincy. But I mean, now if you're the Mets, it's like watch out for the Reds. And St. Louis is only 3.5 back. They're 61-61. Yeah, the conversation. The point is the conversation has changed. I mean,
100%. The Padres are in the postseason, barring some ridiculous collapse that nobody wants to forecast. They're going to make the postseason.
Right.
The odds suggest it. Now it's what seed are you going to be? And the seeding, of course, matters. You want to best position yourself. The 2 things that matter are seeding and health. But I would put them in the order of health then seeding. Mm-hmm. But the 2 things that matter are seeding and health. And I would say health over seeding. They have had a level of health. Now they lose Michael King. They've played good baseball. They've gotten all the way up to this number 2 seed. So let's see if they can continue to get healthier. The season isn't over. That's the good news for King. Like, It's not like this is October 1. He's done.
Yeah.
If it's October 1. But it's not October 1. So there's enough time. We spent a lot of time today, like, how do you overcome King if he's not available to you in the postseason? Mm-hmm. We don't even know if that's the case. We'll hear from Mike Schill tomorrow. He'll be like, Michael King's great.
He just needs a little.
Yeah, he's great. He's never felt better.
Yeah.
But his knee had a
he slept wrong.
But he feels amazing.
He was walking upstairs and he twisted his knee.
But I'll trust me, his arm.
He bent down to pick up his newborn and his knee kind of just gave out.
But his arms never felt better.
Arm is great.
His arm
stuff looks crisp, good.
It's coming out well.
Velocity looks
the shape
awesome.
on his pitches has never been shapier.
Hold on. Everything's great. Everything's good.
Oh yeah. Sorry, we're about to be off the air in about
yeah,
2 minutes.
Thanks.
Thank you. One of those days.
Yeah, it's like, guys, we're doing a radio show. We're fine.
We're
supposed to be here? Everything's okay.
It's like,
jeez.
You never done this. I've called so many high school football games in my life
I've never called one.
When you call a high school football game, everyone comes up to you like, oh, like, do you know if like hot dogs are on sale? I'm like, I'm on microphone.
I know.
You know,
Yeah,
so
exactly. Yeah.
All right, we'll get to Snapdragon Stadium tonight because there is a scrimmage, and you can just walk right in. The Aztecs are going to be playing under the lights 2 weeks
walk
away.
Right in. It's the name of the show today.
Walk right in.
Walk right in.
San Diego State will scrimmage tonight, Fan Fest. Then the Aztecs have their opener 2 weeks from tonight. If you missed anything today, you can check out sportssd.com or the iHeartRadio app, iTunes, TuneIn Radio, or Spotify, and you can find us on YouTube as well. Make sure to be here tomorrow at 2 p.m. We're getting you ready for Padres and Dodgers reaction to FanFest here as well. And we're back tomorrow at 2 p.m. for Brent.
Tomorrow it begins. Padres, Dodgers.
It never
Tune
ended,
in at
though.
2 p.m. 2 p.m.
It never ended. For Brent and Jim, I'm John. Keep it here. This is San Diego Sports 760.
Peace out. Bye.
Bye.